All right, hi everybody. We are live from Jalisco, Mexico. I actually just got in from a walk. Annabelle's in her pajamas, and my daughter Annabelle is going to be doing a little bit of the live with us today. We'll see how long she lasts, and then my husband will be back in just a minute. And then I was trying to think, I like to do a live every Sunday just to catch up and to talk and to go over things. And you have to think of a title for all your lives. And I was thinking today, I wanted to name it The Weight of a Blessing. Do you know what that means? The weight of a blessing? Well, for me, what it means is Mexico was a huge blessing, a blessing we asked for, a blessing I prayed for a really long time. But sometimes the weight of it can be really heavy. Living in a different country, moving to a different country, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Why don't you a wedding band? I'm going to tell you the truth, I lost it.
What do you know?
My wedding ring. I lost it.
Yeah. My dad, we were watching a video from a long time ago when she was like doing a cooking video or something. And my dad said that it was up, they were both up on a shelf, and the next day that they were both lost.
Yeah, when we moved, some of our things got lost, and me and my husband just weren't great. I don't wear any jewelry. I don't even have earrings. So it got lost, you guys.
Yeah, you know those one things that used to exist that were like the eggs and you used to like rub on it and it would hatch? I used to have like a park for that. It used to be like a water park thing. And it was my favorite toy, okay? And I don't know what happened to it, but I've never found it since.
Okay, how do you remember that?
I don't know.
So
it was like
ago.
from when I was 5.
All right, you guys, and Annabelle is going to be answering some of the live questions in Espanol. Now, if you don't know, when we first moved to Mexico, none of my kids spoke Spanish, and now they're pretty fluent. So will you tell them in Spanish that when we first moved here, you didn't speak any Spanish?
Cuando apenas vine para México, yo no hablé español.
Nada. Did you know? Maybe like hola and adios, but they knew absolutely nothing else. And we put them right into the school system, and that's when we started to learn. The other reason I wanted to do the live was because somebody on my last live, because I was talking about orcas, and I'm really afraid of orcas, like the orcas that swim in the ocean, and somebody wrote on there that their daughter had a very scary experience with an orca in the wild, and she's lucky to be alive. So if that person comes on here, I need to know more, because nobody believes me when I tell them that orcas are top predator in the ocean, higher than sharks, 100%.
Yeah, orcas, I am terrified of those things. Like, what? Look at those things. There's a reason they're called killer whales. Like those big whales, you shouldn't be scared of those whales because they won't do anything, but they could swallow you. They're like not mean, but they could swallow you.
That's true, and people don't understand that. They could swallow you on accident.
Or they could like hit you with their tail and you could pass out.
Exactly. People think their tail is just like a normal little thing, and it could like
and maybe reaching out with the boat tipping.
Yes, and I think orcas think it's funny to torment people. I think they act like I swear to you, I think orcas are so smart that they act like they wouldn't do anything, and they want us to think that.
Yeah.
What would you do if you seen an orca in the wild?
I would have somebody
But would you be out in the wild ocean?
No. I like going to campsites, and I would go in the water, but not like deep. Because in Michigan, when you go camping, the water wasn't like dark, foggy and stuff. No, it's very nice. Like at beaches, I wouldn't be scared. But like if we were in the middle of the ocean and you couldn't get away,
Annabelle's like me. She's really afraid of the ocean. And then my husband's joining us right now as well. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my husband bought me a new light for my camera. So you guys let me know if it's too bright now, because I actually have it on the lowest setting. It gets brighter than this. We were like shocked.
We went from 3 people watching all the way to 176.
Listen, so I just want to tell you, I just watched a video of dolphins pushing a turtle up to a boat because it had a rope stuck around its neck, and they wanted people to help it. Isn't that insane?
I have some stories about dolphins you don't even want to know.
Wait, let me tell you guys something. I love dolphins. They're so cute. But have you saw those teeth? Okay, like my grandma, she has cats. Okay, one of them's named Baby, and I used to sleep with her when I went to Michigan. Okay, and I woke up and Baby, she was biting my toes. And I was like. And I didn't want to move because I knew she'd come up to my face and be like, ah! So then I was just staying still, and she started walking up to me. Well, she's very scared of people except for my grandma. She started walking up to my face, and I could have had a heart attack.
You could have had a heart attack. Annabelle is funny because she loves animals, but she don't mess around. Like me and Cristiano, we have new baby chickens right now, surprise baby chicks. And we were trying to, I just want to hold it so bad, you guys.
Wait, let me tell you guys something. The other day, her mama was like, because we have like a tall thing by our house to like a grass area, you know that one thing?
Yeah.
By the hammock. And the mommy was in there and the babies couldn't get in there. My dad's like, go help the babies get back in there. So I ran over there and I'm like, what's up? And I grabbed, I grabbed the little chunky black one. And I was like this. And their mom tried to attack me, and I ran. My chunkas were falling off of my feet, and I kept running.
Your chunkas were falling off your feet.
I left them over there. I didn't even go back. I was like...
Someone said, can you tell the story in Spanish?
Okay, let me say it. Okay. How do I say it? Like... Okay.
How do you start it?
Yeah, how do I
start it from... I went outside and then...
Fui afuera porque mi papá me dijo que le ayudara a los pollitos porque su mamá andaba pues en un lugar alto y los bebés no podían brincar con ella. Entonces yo fui a ayudarles y luego me intentó atacar la mamá. Entonces corrí y mis chancas me andaban cayendo y yo bien asustada corriendo por mi vida.
Okay, so you guys, we have only been here almost 6 years, and that's my daughter speaking Spanish from knowing absolutely nothing, knowing zero Spanish, to now I would say she's pretty close to fluent. It's hard because as you get older, you start learning more words. So say Annabelle had to go to the doctor and translate for me. That might be hard to translate medical things that are going on, but Annabelle is fluent in talking about daily life.
Yeah.
So somebody
said...
said...
Yeah, because when my friends go to Plaza, you know the Plaza stairs?
Yeah.
Me and my friends sit there and we talk, and I'm like, you guys are chismosas.
You are chismosa.
I figured out a way to read the comments.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. So somebody just said, Lalo and Aaron go to bed, Annabelle can entertain us. And she can. Annabelle practices, she loves vlogging. That is her thing. So Annabelle.
And that's bright.
It's at the lowest setting. That's not even the top
when
setting.
I blink, I can see the circle thing.
It's like the sun.
Oh, hi from Waco, Texas. Oh, that's so cool. I just went on my nightly walk, and a subscriber came all the way. I think she said she was from Chicago, but now I don't remember. But she stopped me and she could not believe. She's like, "You're really on the road walking." And I was like, "I really do these things, I promise." But it was so cool. Her family was from a couple ranches down, and they came for a vacation and they watch our vlogs, and she was so excited. So she's excited to meet you guys, Annabelle.
Or is she gonna stay here for a little bit?
Yeah, I think for about a week. Annabelle, can you tell them what is one of your favorite things about Mexico?
Well, I very much love horses. Because I
Okay.
very much love horses.
Uh-huh.
They're so majestic.
Okay, but listen, I want you to think of something that's only in Mexico, because you can have a horse in Michigan.
Yeah, think of something that's only in Mexico that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be a thing. It can also be
Yeah,
something
just-
you do.
Plaza.
Oh yeah, the plaza is a good one. A plaza where is in the center of the town, and right now because it's spring break in the United States, there is so many people here from the United States. The plaza is packed.
You get to walk up to stores because they're so tiny. They're not like Walmart. They're like this.
But the thing is, like, is it just like the plaza that's there, or is it what you get to do at the plaza?
Like your friends are there. I will say it's funny too because even though I am gringa and I look gringa, in Jalisco, there's a lot of lighter skinned people. So when people come here from the United States, say I'm in Ocotlan and they're speaking English, or say I'm in the plaza and they're speaking English and they don't know that I speak English, it is so funny the things people will say, like especially in stores. And it's odd for me to hear Spanish all day long, like 24/7, and then to be in like Pharmacy Guadalajara and hear people from the United States speaking English and they don't know that, like I can understand all their conversation. Like they're talking about the whole chisme of the day, like their family chisme, like everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's weird to be able to do that. And they don't think of me as
Annabelle, I have another question. So, I sometimes have to think in English to say things in Spanish, or vice versa. I either have to think in Spanish as they say something in English. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, I don't even know what's brincolin in English.
What?
That's harder for Penelope. Penelope, there's things. It's so funny. We can't do it anymore. But we used to play a game with her where she'd have to tell me things in English that are more common, that they're always saying it in Spanish. In elote, she didn't know what that was in English. Brincalín, frijoles, because I say those things in Spanish. I don't say them
and
in
she
English.
didn't know, what's that called? Corn.
Elote. Yeah, she didn't know those things, but she gets really sensitive about it, so we don't play that game with her anymore. But Penelope, because she grew up here more little, she's the one who's a little bit more like.
And also that's hard for us because a lot of people tell us to speak more Spanish at home, but our kids speak Spanish all day. If they're at the plaza, if they're at school,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If they're outside playing with friends, they're speaking Spanish.
Nobody speaks English here.
Yeah, like the baby puppies. I talk Spanish to them because they don't know English.
So, you know what I mean? It's almost better for us to keep up on their English at home, but then again, that makes it hard for Aaron to learn Spanish.
Right, I need to take a class. I actually just messaged someone in the ranch who said she'd give me a private class twice a week. Cause it's time, you guys. Yo soy la rancho. Okay, like I need to be fluent. By this point, I need to be fluent in Spanish. I love Mexico. I love being here. I'm ready. Now we live in a rancho where there's one person I know of that is fluent in English because she grew up in the States. That's out of the whole entire ranch. Nobody else speaks
Yeah,
English.
because when we first moved here, I never thought that we were gonna be the only people who just like moved here and was like from Michigan and stuff. No, there was nobody here from Michigan when we first moved here. We had to like learn by ourselves. We had nobody like. We had our dad to teach us too, but we had to learn, like, because all we knew how to say was hola, baño, adios. That was the only things we knew how to say. Yeah, agua. And when I first went to school, my friends would say something, I would be like, because they wouldn't understand them.
No.
But now I'm like, I could know what they're saying.
Oh yeah, Annabelle caught on right away. Cristiano doesn't speak as fast as Annabelle, but he pronunciates words
A lot
better. He can understand the difference between I, A, E, O, U and A, E, O, U. He understands that better, and he'll always correct me. Make sure she reads books in English. Oh yeah, Annabelle taught
Already
her
know how to speak in English, how to read in English and read in Spanish.
That's true.
Who taught you how to read in English?
One day, nobody taught me, but one day, Bubba has like these dog police things. What are those things called? Books?
I can't think of what they're called.
Dog man or something like that. And I grabbed it and I tried to read it and I couldn't. I couldn't. And then like a week later, I like practiced for a bunch of days, and I don't know how, but I learned.
She taught herself to read in English because she was learning how to read in Spanish. So she was learning how to sound out a word, and her brain just processed it. And it still blows my mind because like the SH, like the sh, the TH, and the CH, I don't know how she would have known, but
see,
she did.
I think that happened to me as well. So I learned everything in English in the States.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever having like a Spanish speaking teacher. But I still learned how to read and write in Spanish. I don't know how that happens.
My husband has a funny story because if you grew up, my husband grew up in California, and his parents were immigrants and they didn't speak English. So when my husband was born, just like my kids only learned English, my husband had only learned Spanish until it was time to go to school. And then he gets put into the English speaking school. So a lot of these Spanish children aren't even learning English until they're in like the first grade. Say they go to kindergarten and then the first grade. And so I'm always curious. I always ask people about that because I was curious what would be the process for my children going into a Spanish speaking school. What timeline was I looking at for them to learn Spanish? From my experience, it's different with each kid. The 2-year mark was when they were understanding fluently. The 3-year mark, they started to put together words, and then by the 4th and 5th year, they were talking in full sentences. That was my experience. So I'm assuming...
Honestly, I think they knew how to speak Spanish way before that. I think they were more embarrassed to speak Spanish like around people.
Right, because when you say it wrong, they kind of look at you like, so you have to get over that fear.
Yeah.
Or you fake it till you make it, like I do. But but my husband was telling me a funny story that a little boy, I don't know if his 1st or 2nd grade, flipped him off, and he didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, it was this kid, and I remember every day he'd flip me off, and I was like, man, what's his problem? But I didn't know that was a bad word.
Right.
I only spoke Spanish, you know what I mean?
Do you ever remember, can you remember back to 1st and 2nd grade if you were fluent yet, or if you were still a little confused?
No, I don't remember when I actually started like speaking English. I just remember all my classes being in English.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have, a Mexican teacher or anything, or somebody that would speak Spanish to us at school.
Right.
But I mean, I was still really good at school. I don't know how. I always got really good grades.
Yeah, my husband was really good at school, but he grew up in Wilmington, and he grew up in a little bit of a rough neighborhood. And we can't ask his dad now, and God worked it all out for our good. But going from like this very calm, family-oriented ranch to being brought up in LA, it being a little rough. Like my husband's told me the really rough stories of LA that I wish now I could ask him, was it just financially that they left? Or was it bigger than that? Or did they only plan for a little bit and they wanted to go back, but they never did?
To come back here to Mexico?
Yeah.
No, my dad originally was just going to go buy a truck. So when my dad left here, I guess there was only like 2 trucks available. One of them was a flatbed, like one of those 6-ton trucks. And then the other one was a brand new like Chevy pickup.
Right.
But other than that, there was like no cars here at the ranch when my dad left. So my dad wanted to go to the States to buy a truck. That was, and then come back.
But then he didn't.
No.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. A lot of people go to the United States not always wanting to flee Mexico. They just want to get ahead a little bit. Like all of us, we want to be able to have a home. We want to be able to have some savings. And I think you get there and you start progressing, and then you feel like you just maybe never catch up enough.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I never asked my dad, so I don't know what the circumstances were.
And I wish I could, because it would have been different for him, because I always asked your mom who made the choice to leave, and she said it was your dad.
Well, I think it was a combination of all those things. Like, you know what I mean? My grandparents were already sick.
Yeah.
Like I said, he wanted to buy a truck for whatever reason. And then, you know, just to build the house. Because my dad was the one that built the original house here.
And you know, that goes back to also setting family boundaries, I think, because especially in a Hispanic household, I know my husband told me growing up, them living in LA, they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and his dad would help anybody, like especially people coming from the rancho into the United States, because he knew how it felt to have nothing, and he would let them stay there for weeks or months at a time until they could get on their feet. So he had the pressure of that, the weight of that, but then he also had the weight of helping his family here in Mexico, because a lot of his brothers and sisters didn't leave, did they? There's about 11 of them. So just your dad left.
And 2 sisters.
Okay, so the dad left and 2 sisters. So he really felt the weight of and like I told you guys, I named the title "The Weight of a Blessing." You have this blessing. You're in the United States. Financially, you might have a little bit extra.
Hold on. Guillermo Medina, ¿eres de Rodeo Durango? De ahí es mi mamá.
Oh, really?
Saludos.
Someone's from Durango. Oh, sorry.
Y mi mamá también se apellida Medina.
I keep hitting the thing. I don't know if a lot of you guys can relate to that if you are in a Hispanic family, or even if you're in a white family like me. Like, I grew up in a white family, but my father-in-law had the weight of blessings. He wanted to help people, and he was in the position to help people. But I also think in ways it can take away from your family, because it's hard to say no. You know, especially when people are in need. So I don't know if...
I don't know what the circumstances were.
Yeah.
So like I can't put myself in that position, because I just didn't have those struggles.
Right.
You know what I mean? My dad could have, I'm sure he told me stories of what led to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, remember I once told you I couldn't read the Bible because I'm not there to like live it. You know what I'm saying? So like some of the things in the Bible just don't make sense to me because we no longer do them. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way I felt like with my dad telling me stories. You know, I could hear them, but I'm never going to live them.
Well, you have trouble relating.
Yeah.
I think, though, you can relate to it even at this day and age. You're still always going to want to help, and we should.
Yeah.
But it's the weight of it. It's the weight of just a lot of things.
It is.
And for your dad, I think the weight could have been going back to him not leaving California and then Michigan. I think the weight could have been he still felt like he had a lot to do. And living in the United States gave him that opportunity. And maybe he was nervous to leave that.
No, so like when we left California, it was because of us, honestly. Like I was illegal at the time. My dad was illegal. We didn't have driver's license. I was already driving. So, you know, my dad was always worried about us getting pulled over or, you know, maybe getting into an accident. And, you know, those things led to, you know, deportation or whatever it was.
Right.
I think at the time, Michigan was still giving out driver's license without a social security number. So I think we ended up going there for the summer. We stayed there for 2 or 3 months, I can't remember. And then the following year, my dad sold everything that he had, packed whatever he wanted, and then moved to Michigan.
Yeah, and that's where I met my husband, you guys, because I'm from Michigan, and he was not a vaquero yet like he is right now. So I had no idea that any of this was here, the rancho. My husband didn't even know because his dad didn't talk about it very much. And he never had the opportunity to come back to Mexico because you got to California when you were 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was 4 years old when he went to California. And Annabelle is distracting me so much. And then he went to Michigan and he had some girlfriends, but then he met me, and then we have our life here.
Look at that hair.
I know, isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, how did I end up here? This is
With your red
crazy.
hair.
And I'm also gonna tell you guys something from my daughter Abigail's perspective.
Hold on. Somebody said on here, our immigration law should be enforced. No one should work without proper documentation. This was back in 2004. So I'm sure things have changed. I know for a fact things have changed in Michigan now. You know, it kind of hurts me that everything that we just talked about, everything that people go through to get through life there as illegal immigrant, and that's all you can think about is enforcing laws. We don't do it to break the law. This is what we have to do to survive because that's all we knew at the time.
And my husband I know some people go there, like his parents at an older age, but my husband was a child, and it would be hard for my kids if I brought them here as babies, and then I'm like, they're like 30, and okay, well now you have to leave, and that would be extremely hard for them.
It was extremely hard for me.
Right, your life is here.
I didn't know anything about Mexico. I was born here. You know what I mean? But I don't remember living here. I didn't remember anything about Mexico. So, you know, to me, the United States was home. I didn't have that cushion.
And it had to have been scary thinking, like, if it gets taken away, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right, because we didn't know. We're very blessed where we live that we have the rancho, but that's not always the case for some people. And I'm also going to tell you guys, on my Facebook page, I put a organization. It's called A21, and it's run by Christina Kane. And it's modern. It's to show you what is modern day slavery and how you can help. And so I went on to this because I was very curious. I was very curious. She goes to each region and tells you, you know, how is modern day slavery affected in that region. So I went down to Mexico, and I encourage you guys to go to my Facebook and look at the A21 video I posted on there, because yes, we want everywhere in Mexico and in America, we want it to be peaceful. We want it to be fair. We don't want wrong things going on. Scary things happen here too in Mexico. I don't talk about those things, but I will tell you scary things do happen here. Do I feel safer here? Yes, I feel so much safer here than I did in the United States. In the sense that, like a minute ago, I don't know what time it is right now. It's 9:30, it's dark out. I just walked up to the store 3 blocks, grabbed what I needed and walked home, and I felt safe. Because you have a community that you know every single person in every single house you are surrounded by. Whether you go to Ocotlan, whether you go to Arandas, all these places, everybody knows each other.
Yeah, but I don't want to mislead people. I think
No, that's what I said.
You're in a little bit of a different situation. So like I said, 3/4 of this town is related to my family somehow.
Right.
So, 75% of the people that you run into know me or my kids or my wife.
Right.
Personally.
Right.
Or my mom or my dad or, whoever it was.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case for everybody that comes to Mexico. Especially in like bigger cities like Guadalajara. I'm sure there's still family around, but I don't think, it'd be the same thing.
So that's a good example. If I were to come to the ranch and I wasn't married to my husband, I was just a tourist who wanted to walk around, I would still feel safe, but people wouldn't know me personally. And because people know me personally, we're always watching out for each other. But what I was trying to tell you guys is that in America and in the United States, of course, we want it peaceful. We want people to be able to do things the right way. But you still have immigrants working for nothing to provide for something. And we see it. You can drive past any field and see immigrants working. And
Well, not only that, you guys, or that particular person wanted to talk about, certain laws. Well, man, I was working a full-time job at 14 years old at a company that knew that I was illegal, that didn't have a social security number.
right.
That would pay me in cash.
And I think unless you are born into that, you don't know how bad it is. Because I was born in an all-white family, I had no idea about immigrants or anything like that. And then hearing my husband growing up and the ways he had to work and the things he had to do, it would be weird to see a kid working at 14 years old, right? But
yeah, I was working second shift.
But then me and my husband, where I lived in Michigan, we had a good friend who lived in, where is Lalo from?
Grant,
From Grant, Michigan. And he knew a lot of immigrant families, and going out there and going in the fields and stuff, you see children out there. I have seen horrific video footage of farmers treating these people so terribly, but they don't have any way out. Sometimes they want to leave and they can't. And like I said on my Facebook, I put a video on there and it goes a little bit more into depth just to kind of get the understanding of how all this works. Now, there's some Americans who are going to want to put on their blinders to that and think that that's just not true, but it is. And it's also true here in Mexico. There's things going on in Mexico that are wrong all over this world, you guys, all over this world. There is just horrific, terrible things. And the one thing I can tell you is I know I am called to love and give grace and be understanding of situations. And that's why when me and my husband met, me and my husband, you guys, have never even been on a vacation together with our kids. We've never...
Well, that was one of the things that was like, polar opposites to us. I don't remember ever going on vacation. I don't remember, I think I went to Universal Studios once.
Because it was by your house, right? It wasn't
No.
a trip.
It was because my cousin from Mexico had gone there and
and
he wanted to go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But other than, our parents telling us, hey, pack your things because we're going on vacation to wherever.
Yeah.
Never happened. So I know you were used to going camping and
Yeah.
maybe staying at Ludington for a week or whatever it was. And when we started doing that as a small family, because I remember we only had Abigail.
Yeah.
That was weird to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm all of a sudden I'm camping in the middle of the park, but I feel like I'm supposed to be at work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't get.
You never fully
No.
enjoyed. You never I tried to push my American ways on my husband, and he never fully enjoyed it. Now, like I said, we got to do things like camping because it was inexpensive, but we were putting so much money for so many years towards residency and then citizenship, because you have to wait a certain amount of years between residency and citizenship, that we couldn't afford anything else, you guys. And I wanted to be home with my children. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Big heart for you.
Big heart for you. We put all of that off to do this, to give my husband his residency and his citizenship. We did not have brand new cars. A lot of the times we had one really old car that we would just kind of have to share.
Okay, so listen, I want to tell you something. So I had a 88 lifted Blazer, full size, okay?
This is before he married me, just so you guys know.
No, yeah. So I was, I'm sure I said this on here before, but I was really into cars when I was growing up. My dad would, either we were at a car show or we were fishing at the pier, okay? Those were our two, like, distractions from me growing up. Well, I had an 88 Chevy Blazer, full size, that was lifted, okay, on 35s, I think. Well, I don't know why or how this happened, but every time Erin got pregnant, that's what we were driving.
Every single time. And you guys, this car was so old that if you hit like a little pebble, your face would hit your head would hit the ceiling, okay? I don't know what that means, but I knew it was old because like you couldn't sit still. I hated this car, but for some reason, because it was an older car and we didn't have great cars. So if one car broke down, my husband always kept that one in the back, even though I begged him to sell it. Yeah, and every time I got pregnant with the baby, for some reason, that was the car. And you guys, like, it was lifted so high. I swear I think you used to have to help me get into it.
Yeah, dude, and you were like 8-9 months pregnant.
It was horrid.
I remember Abigail when she was little. Abigail had a hard time sleeping, okay? And
Hi.
we would get it had this really loud exhaust. It barely even had an exhaust, okay? But it was really loud, and it would vibrate the whole car. And Abigail, as a baby, loved it. I would sit her in there and let the car warm up for a little bit. I mean, she was out.
Yeah, the kids would go right to sleep in it.
Yeah.
But it was hard, you guys. So when people bring up, oh, just do it the right way, you have no idea what it takes to do it the right way, unless you've been through it. And you have to be willing to sacrifice your life to get through it. You have to be willing to sacrifice vacations and going out to eat at nice places and a lot of other things to be able to do this. And like I said, it's not just your residency. After your residency, you have to wait a certain amount of years for your citizenship.
Yeah, you have to wait at least 5 years.
And then between that time, you have to make sure you don't even get a speeding ticket. You have to make sure you get absolutely nothing going on. So me and my husband did do it the right way, but I didn't want to. I absolutely would have rather just keep it the way it was because it took so much from our family. Financially, stressfully, I was so stressed all the time. My husband was so scared all the time. But God put something in me to get it done because that's the only reason. There was no other reason because it was easier to not do it. And that's the other thing. Why does the government make it easier to not do it than to get it done? So that's the hard part, especially when you have proof that you've lived there most of your life. But it worked out in our favor because I read in the Bible, God saying, I will give you back the years you lost. And I felt like I was missing out. My friends would have children and stuff, and they'd be going to Great Wolf Lodge, and they'd be going to do all these really cool things with their kids. Now, to this day, my children love camping. Thank you, Melissa.
What?
She gave us $10. Woo, woo.
Thumbs up.
My kids love camping and they love the simple things. But I felt like I was losing out on a lot, and I feel like then when my husband got his residency and we come back to Mexico, God started replacing the years that we had lost. And it was really hard to follow him, and it took a lot of discipline from me and my husband. but like tonight I went for a walk and I was looking at the sunset and I just took a deep breath and I started crying because I was like, I prayed for this and I didn't even know God was gonna give us 1,000,000 times more than we had even asked for. Like, I didn't know Mexico was part of the plan. I thought staying away from Mexico was part of the plan at first. And then to be out there and just be in the open and see the sunset, and I was like, there's no reason I should be here besides His grace and His love through all of it. Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. Annabelle's reading through all the comments, just so you guys know.
Yeah, but my mom and dad tell stories and just say,
do you have any good stories?
what?
Of anything. I'll let you think about it.
Well, hold on. I wanna. Since we're talking about what brought us to Mexico, or to me, it was, to spend time with you guys. But, I was never home in Michigan.
No, you had to work all the time.
I was never there, and like now, I look at pictures of Abigail when she was little, or Annabelle, or P, or Cristiano, and a lot of those pictures I wasn't in it.
No.
I'm always wondering, where was I at? What was I doing that was so important that I had to miss this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, that was just part of it. That was part of the process. You know what I mean? I remember praying to just let us do this 1 year. Just let us try it.
Just get us through give us 1 year, God, together when we first got here.
Yeah.
We're like, just give us 1 year here because we didn't know if we were gonna make it. Si tapan el alto, my dad is a Greek immigrant. Oh wow. We didn't know if we were gonna make it, you guys, and then I will tell you, and most of you know, my husband left for a year, a whole entire year. I was in Mexico.
I was a year and 4 months.
Yeah, a year and 4 months. I was in Mexico by myself. And if you're from the rancho, a lot of people who have visited or grew up in the rancho, they're like, we can't believe you did it. But I did it. And my husband said, he goes, I don't think we're going to make it. I think we're going to have to come back to the United States. And I told him, no, I can't do it.
No, what ended up happening was a bunch of stuff happened through COVID and all that stuff, okay?
Yeah, that was
And then, all that stuff happened, and we had a whole bunch of animals at the time. We still were trying to stick to our original plan was, to be here 5 years, have our kids learn Spanish. Maybe Aaron would learn some Spanish, and I got to help out my mom during those 5 years.
Right.
My dad had just passed away, so, we got to a point where we said, well, if we get to this amount of money in our savings, we're gonna have to leave, and that's what ended up happening.
Yep.
I'm the only one that ended up leaving, because my kids didn't want to leave.
No. No, the kids, Abby was like, absolutely, I won't do it. Abby loves Mexico, all of our kids. But within that time of my husband leaving, I remember telling God, I know the Lord put it in me to be here. And I tell my kids all the time, God waits for you to ask, but you also have to put in the hard work that goes into it. And I had been vlogging a long time, you guys. I had vlogged before I was monetized, before I had a lot of subscribers, any of it. I wanted to just vlog my life here so I could look back on it. And there was a couple subscribers before I had a lot, and they would be like, Erin, we haven't heard from you in a couple days. We want to keep seeing your vlogs. And they encourage me. Oh, Clumsy 619, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
I felt like I had to do something. So I seen somebody do a Vlogmas, and they lived in Mexico too. And I said, Vlogmas would be a great idea because Christmas in Mexico is so unique. And I said, okay, I'm gonna pray. Me and the kids, we literally would get together in the car and we would pray. At the time, you had to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I only had maybe 300 at the time.
How much did she donate?
Stark, thank you so much.
How much?
I don't know, Pumpkin, I couldn't see it too good. And me and my kids would pray every day. And I'm telling you guys, and that was the time my husband told me we're not gonna be able to do it. And within that time, I woke up one day and the subscribers were just going up and going up. And so it changed our life. And it is such a huge blessing. And one day, when I hit 100,000, like that's our dream, we're gonna do something really special. I don't know what, but my dream is to hit 100,000. And that's not just so like, oh, look, I have 100,000 subscribers, to know that we can share our immigration story. We can bring hope. We can show people how beautiful Mexico is. We can show you God's light in the way He has moved in our life. It is possible for anyone. Thank you so much. Oh, I love when they, Jesus Jr., Cantu, thank you so much. Oh, Annabelle loves looking at that. So that's the biggest goal. I can't believe God gave me a platform. I'm gringa, but I get to share the platform of beautiful Mexico with you and my children and all of us. Where I couldn't go, I put in the work and God filled in the rest. It's such a blessing, and it's cool too that my husband gets to see that, because I don't know if you exactly grew up that way. He's reading through the comments on his phone. Hi guys, love your videos. Hello Annabelle, love Annabelle's personality. Looks like Lalo. There is a photo of your dad. I have to go get it because I want you guys to see how much she looks like her grandpa.
Oh, I'm taking over now. I'm going to be taking over now.
All right, you guys.
Oh.
I'm going to show you. This is my husband's dad. I think he looks like Annabelle. Look at them straight, Pumpkin. Okay, she has his nose and his eyes.
His eyebrows.
His eyebrows. And then I'm going to show you my mother-in-law, Hilda. She looks just like Abby. Like spitting image. Kind of stay. Can you guys see Abigail in her? She looks just like you too, hon. Okay, and then I'm gonna let my husband get to a couple things because I can tell he's reading through the comments.
I don't really have anything to say.
Oh, there's no comments you wanted to answer?
No.
Okay.
I know what I want to say.
Okay, go.
Okay. So, I love horses.
So when we moved to Mexico, one really cool thing is escaramuza, and that is a form of like horse sport, I would say.
Thank you. They donated $100.
Thank you so much. Oh, Pumpkin.
Hey, can I give it a heart too?
I gotta look a little closer.
Is that 100?
Okay, I don't know if it's legs slark or legs lark, but thank you so much.
Aaron, somebody asked if you felt welcome at the rancho when you first got in.
Oh, I felt very welcome. People were very curious of if I was staying or why I want to stay.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when I was in kindergarten, okay, my mom forgot to pick me up, and one of my best friends brought me to my house.
Okay, I didn't forget. You got out early and they didn't tell me. Okay,
No,
keep going.
but I had to go. She was, so in the ranch, there's like a first grade of the kindergarten and a second. They're a very small classroom. And she was from the second, so she was like 1 year older than me. She had blonde hair, and she was so nice. And then she had to bring me home to my house because Mom didn't pick me up.
And then okay, no, that's not how it worked. Here, it's different here in the rancho because not everybody had a cell phone, especially when she was in kindergarten.
Thank you. Wait, I want to hide it now. Can I hide it?
Clumsy 619, thank you.
Thank you.
He's been donating 3 times.
Okay, and then somebody said on here that I'm not answering all the comments. I just want to let you know, from my phone that I'm using, it's horizontal.
It's like this.
I can only see a
A
couple
couple.
at a time, but my husband has his phone on the side and he's reading through all of them. But me and Annabelle are just reading the ones that pop up to us. I don't know how to change that, you guys. I don't know what to tell you guys. I can only read the ones that God's putting in front of me.
I mean, if it's hard to just answer every question on here and every person. I mean, it's almost impossible. We have to kind of like pick through the comments, or maybe ones that we catch as we're getting into another subject.
But bringing up the subject of school here in the rancho, so what I was used to was the school in the United States. Oh, okay, here we come, Pumpkin. The school in the United States would give you a yearly calendar so you would know exactly when spring break is, when Christmas break, graduation, all those things. They don't do that here on the rancho. Cristiano's graduating 6th grade, which would be the end of elementary here. They will not give me a date on when the start of summer is going to be.
Well, not only that, man, I feel like there is a lot of challenges for Aaron living here, okay? The language would be one of them, like there's a language barrier. The way things work in Mexico sometimes can be very disorganized.
Yes.
Everything that happens at the school or that they want to happen goes on WhatsApp. So my wife has to sit there and kind of translate all the messages. You know, and that's I don't know if that's there's no like calendar that you can follow.
And it's not like in the United States where, say you're gonna have an Easter party and the teacher says, we're gonna have an Easter party, you can bring this, this, and this. I don't even know if they let you have parties in the class still or not. It doesn't work like that here on the ranch. What they do is, like the big spring festival, that was so fun, but that was a lot for me because the teachers make a couple plans, but then the moms make big plans. And then if you don't catch it, you don't catch it.
Another thing you guys have to understand is a lot of the events, like the spring parade that just happened, a lot of the events are funded by the parents. We
the
have
whole
to pay.
thing.
Yeah, we have to pay for all of it. It's not like the school has money to pay for these things. So all of us as parents get together and we put a budget on how big we want the event to be or how small we want the event to be. And then, kind of figure out, okay, well, this is how much we have to pay per parent to make this happen.
And if you've seen the parade, you've seen that my husband had tacos. So how that works is one mom will make them. One mom will bring the lemons, one mom will bring the cilantro, one mom will bring the meat, and then it goes down in order, and whatever that adds up to, they split it between all the parents. And no, they don't ever have me cook food.
And
the day they ask me to cook food,
He's gonna bring pizza.
Macaroni and cheese.
No,
Listen,
I'm not.
Listen, but that goes along to
Rude.
for a lot of the other events too, like our fiesta's coming up. That's paid for by all the families.
You guys don't even know what we're talking about yet. You just wait, the fiestas. This is like, they put like a big, huge concert stage. People are out all night. Not me. I like to sleep. I almost broke my arm falling out of the bed last year because I forgot fiestas were coming. And it's not normal fireworks. It's like bombs. And the guy who was in charge of it is next door to our house. And I thought a gas tank exploded and I fell out of the bed because I was sleeping. I thought I broke my arm. That starts at 4, the fireworks. And then the fiesta.
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning. And then like a live band starts at about 6 in the morning in the middle of the plaza.
It's a mariachi. So the mariachi goes from 6 to 9 and then a band takes over from 9 to midnight or whenever it is.
For 9 days, non-stop.
Wait, let me tell you guys something. Also at midnight, They have like a metal crown that shoots into the air. Shoots into
Oh yeah,
the
it's
air.
called a castillo.
Yeah.
A Castillo, you're gonna want to get home before the. I'm just warning any gringos who might be dating a Mexicano and they're like,
Or
come
they
to
want to
my.
come to Mexico or something.
Right. If they're like, come to my rancho for the fiestas, because that's when everyone comes, you should go. You will love it. But you need to be warned of some things.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Somebody said, how hard was it for you to adjust to live more slow-paced life rather than the lifestyle in the States?
Very hard. You guys, just walking around Target to decompress is addictive. You don't realize it until you don't have it. Randomly shopping online is
Not here because
No.
the shopping here takes like a month to get here.
Yeah, so I did not think one time, I thought the ranch was so peaceful, I loved it. Then when I got here, and say for the first 2 weeks, you're so happy, you're adjusting, you're settling, and then you start to get your daily stresses again. But I can't go in the car and go walk around Target to just window shop and get a nice coffee. Or I can't shop on Amazon, or I can't go into the dollar store, or just going for a long drive because I lived in Michigan and in the winters you could just go for a nice long drive or go around the lake. No, I had to learn different healthy habits to fill my mind, like my daily walks that I take you guys on. That's something I do almost every single day, and that replaced me being stressed, and I'd bring all the kids to Target and we'd go walk around and think about things we wanted to buy.
It's funny now because my kids go back and forth to Michigan.
Yeah.
And doing those things, is, you know what I mean, they really dislike now. You know what I mean, they don't like going in the car places. They don't like going to stores and window
No,
shop.
especially Annabelle. And because we're not in the car a lot, we might go to Ocotlán or something, but not like we are in the States.
Wait,
You-
I tell them something.
Yeah.
When we were in Michigan, when we would go, because you would have to drive everyone a car. You could play outside, but you would have to drive like everyone a car, and I did not like that. Every time I'd be like, Mom, can we just walk there? She'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's weird for my girls. They're like, if I wanted to go to Walmart, can't we just walk there? And I'm like, no, we can't walk to Walmart. We have to drive in the car. I will tell you something that was odd to me. Here in the rancho, and even out in Ocotlán, everything is a very slow pace. Nobody is rushing each other. You wait in line and you learn. I had to learn to be patient here. There is no fast service. And I had to learn that. And so then when I went back, it was like, maybe it was last year when I went back, and I went into Target. People were rushing everywhere. Like just running, not running, but they were really antsy
Fast.
to get what they needed and get through the aisles.
But I felt that way when I went
Right.
back. When I went back to work, so I would start my day at 3:00 in the morning, okay, and then I head off to work, and then I was there most of the day. And then for whatever reason, I was like rushing back home, even though I didn't have anything to do. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife and kids weren't there, but for some reason I felt like I had to like rush everywhere I went.
Everywhere. It's the weirdest thing. And so then when I went back to Michigan, I wanted to just leisurely walk through Target and look at some things that I can't get here. And people were making me anxious because people were just going and rushing through, and then nobody tells you hi. Like you say buenos dias, buenos tardes, even out in the bigger cities. Nobody stops to talk to you. Everybody's rushing through. You wouldn't dream of being rude to the taco ladies here. They all just love each other and we love them. But in the United States, I was a waitress for a lot of years, and people feel so entitled. Like, I'm paying for this, so it better be right, instead of just having a joyful time. Like, yes, I'm paying for my tacos, but I'm not just paying for them. Like, I'm doing something you can't pay for. I am enjoying the company of the cooks, of my family, of the environment around us. food means a lot more to me here in Mexico, because if you guys watch my vlogs, you know I love Mexican food. I love salsa. Annabelle drinks salsa out of the bag when there's like extra salsa. Food means something different here. It tastes good, but it's a different experience. Even just, somebody told me, can you not show the animals that are being butchered in the street? And
That's part of it.
That's-
if you guys want to know, if you guys are here to watch how Mexico is, that's part of it.
right, and that was hard for our kids at first, but I was like, you guys,
Yeah, I became a vegetarian for like a month.
yeah, she's like a vegetarian.
For like a month.
Now she
No, I
tears up
was.
some tacos. But that's part of it. The cows that we eat here on the ranch, the butcher also owns the cows, and they live in a field right down the road. It's part of life, and they're learning that. They're not just grabbing a bag of meat and they didn't know the cow or where it came from or what that process means. Also, your food doesn't go to waste because of certain things like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because here you can't open a pantry and like grab a bag of chips and some Coke. No, because here, like in the fridge especially, because like you can't grab like meat and be like, oh yeah, this is good. No, because it's fresh. It doesn't, like Michigan, it expires in like a week, but here you have like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, there's meat that is fresh expires more quickly because it's fresh food. You can't keep it in
Yeah,
your
and it doesn't have
refrigerator.
like what is that thing?
Preservatives.
Preservatives.
But we just get to walk out our door, walk to the butcher's, grab what we need for the day, walk our kids to school, get our tortillas. You get what you need for the day. On my next vlog, I was actually going to show what our fridge looks like, because one time I did that and people were shocked.
They're like freaking out.
They were freaking out, and they were like, they didn't understand. And then they're like, well, what if your kids just want a snack in the middle of the day? They walk up to their little tienda. There's a tienda right next door.
And they have a window. It's so cool. They have a window that's like
I'm
half
sure
open. And
if you guys are Mexican, then you guys know, like, you know what I mean, Mexican snacks. So a lot of it includes a lot of fruit.
And vegetables. Elote.
And like the little tiendas that my wife's talking about, most of them sell pepinos, jicama, you know what I mean, just different types of fruit that you can snack on. And it's super inexpensive. It's not like, you know, I feel like when we were in Michigan, if we wanted a snack or something, you know, you'd be eating chips or gummy bears or, you know what I mean, some sort of weird thing, okay? Or we would just go to McDonald's because that was the cheapest. Well,
Yeah.
here, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Fruits and vegetables are the cheapest
Yes.
that you can buy.
Yes. I think one time I converted it in like a bag of fruit was like $1.50 or something, and they cut up like a huge bag of fruit. So somebody said that, they're like, oh, you don't have a lot of fruit in your house, but it's because
you could walk up to like a store in our ranch, and like I get some pepinos, which is cucumbers with sal and limon, and I'm fine with that. I'll eat that. I'll be like, oh.
Oh, I was wondering also what this was referring to from Little Blue Farmhouse, where she said you can't do it the right way unless you have a family member that can claim you. Some people don't understand. Oh, for the residency.
For residency.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You have to have
You have to have some sort of sponsor. So like, if you can't, I mean,
outside of your wife or your husband.
if you're in the States illegally, you're applying for your residency, you don't have work permission, you don't have, you know, you can't do all these things to say, well, I can take care of myself. So the government asks for you to have a sponsor that is willing to take care of you throughout the entire process. So, and, you know what I mean, like, I don't even know if people are willing to do that now, because they don't know how long this process is gonna be.
No.
My mom applied for her residency in 80 something, okay? And it took her 30 years to get her residency. And without a sponsor, without, you know what I mean, without her just doing it on her own. Took her 30 years. I don't think people understand that.
No, and they can also deny you for whatever reason you want. And then there are some support places where you can do it at a very low cost. But you're looking at a lot of time and backup issues and things like that. And me and my husband were willing to sacrifice a lot to make sure we could get it done the right way. And then I was also going to, okay, my phone's driving me nuts. It keeps, okay. I also was gonna comment on one of the biggest questions, I think, is education. That is a big one that people ask about.
I think, yeah, that's a big one. I don't know how to explain Mexican education. At least like where I'm at.
Right.
I have a lot of cousins here that are extremely smart.
Yes.
That I don't think went without a lot. You know what I mean? As far as schooling goes.
Right.
I have cousins that went to a public school. I have cousins that went to private schools. And I don't think they're lacking anything. You know what I mean? I think it also involves, you know, how much you put into your own schooling. You know what I'm saying? Just like anything else. Like my kids right now, I don't think, like, for example, Cristiano, I don't think you could be at a school in Michigan sitting there for 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Annabelle maybe can.
Okay.
Cristiano just doesn't have the attention span for it. I think 4 hours is enough for him, and you know what I mean, what he's gonna learn for that day.
Like,
You know what I mean? And that's not saying anything bad about Cristiano. Cristiano's very, very smart. I just don't think that, you know what I mean, they need to be sitting there for 8 hours.
No, absolutely not. They do not need to be sitting there for 8 hours, you guys. There is a problem, I don't want to say in the educational system in the United States because it's a big blessing, but there's also a problem because, you guys, I grew up in the United States in the school system, so did my husband, and I can tell you my strengths were not built up. It was very generic, and of course, I want my kids to know how to master the basics. Times tables, for example. That's, if you can master your times tables, you can read and write really well, and you can do really well your basic math. After that, if you can get those things down, the world is so open to you because everybody has different gifts. Everybody. And I tell my children that all the time. And how God is going to use that gifts for them is also going to be up to them. And for them to use those gifts, they have to know how to work hard. Even if they just want to be a stay-at-home mom. For me to be a stay-at-home mom for my children, I had to know how to work hard. I had to know how to budget. I had to have that will in me to keep going and keep pushing for a better life. My mom, for example, went to college to be an MRI tech. That was a gift for her. Number one, she really likes being around people. She's a people person. She had to push herself through school though. And she had to go to college to be an MRI tech. And you have to go to college to be a doctor. But there are other things you do not have to go to college for. If it is a gift to you, if it is something in you that brings joy to other people, then you should go. I know some people, for example, that they might not have to go to college. Maybe they already have a really good job, but they enjoy going to college and furthering their education in that way. And that's a gift, and that's something they're working towards. But then there's some people who want to be a photographer, and they are pushing their gift in that way, and college does not benefit them, but they found other things that do benefit them. Education comes in so many different ways.
Well, no, you know what I learned, like my time being here now, is that Mexico's full of entrepreneurs.
Full of it.
They
Yes.
literally, you know, they found a way to solve any problem that you guys need. Okay, so like, you know what I'm saying? Let's say, you're washing your windows. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that's all they do is they wash your window at a stoplight. You know what I mean? That's like a need. That's something that we need. You know what I mean? Because we're so much in a hurry, or we're too lazy to, or whatever the situation is, we didn't clean our windshield. Well,
Yeah.
they delivered a service that we needed.
And it's so dusty in Mexico because
Yeah.
it's dry. And then somebody on here said there's a private school in Atlanta, and kids go to school from 8 to noon. That's what they do here in Mexico. Kids go to school from 8 to noon because they're prioritizing different things. For example, you rest from 2 to 4 everywhere, even in the city, you guys. Nothing is going to be open besides the hospital. And this is not something that we're like, oh my gosh, that's so dumb. What if I need something? We're like, we're going to rest too. Everybody in the ranch rests from 2 to 4. Life is just different, and it's...
Well, I think it goes along with the lifestyle that we live. You know what I mean? I think kids really get more from going to school 4 hours. You know what I mean? Because they go learn for 4 hours from their teachers on different subjects, but then most of the kids here come home and have chores to do.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they're not only learning like school stuff, but they're learning everyday stuff. Like my son Cristiano. You know what I mean? I didn't when I was in Michigan, I didn't have the chance to show them how to weld or
No.
How to build things, or you know what I mean? I just didn't have the time to.
And I'm going to tell you guys, my husband bring that up, a stay-at-home mom's life here in Mexico.
Yeah.
I brought this up to somebody recently, one of my family friends, and she was here in the rancho, and she's like, you need to grow your family, that'd be so nice, because she's growing her family right now. And I said, it's so funny because here in Mexico, a stay-at-home mom is not doing everything. It is not, oh, my kids were in school 8 or 9 hours, they're tired, they want to go rest. Of course they do. Their mental load is insane. But here in Mexico, kids have school from 8 to 12, and then they go home. Everybody rests for a little bit, but everybody helps each other. Somebody does the dishes, somebody hangs up laundry, somebody washes. That was very, very hard for me to not feel guilty having my kids doing this every single day, because I was so used to them being in school all day and then wanting dinner and being tired. But now my kids get out of school, they go do their chores right away, and then that's it. Annabelle's a little bit different. She argues with me. But
No,
Abigail,
Annabelle,
she's
it's-
good at it, but she's little
It's
still.
funny how you can see what everybody is good at.
Yes.
Literally, you can spot it. Okay, but I don't know. Like Aaron said, you're kind of focusing on their strengths.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the way we give our kids chores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we know, okay, well, you're good at this and you like doing this.
And you're
then
efficient at it.
You're efficient at it. That's what we want you to do.
And then kids are learning, work hard towards things. You need to learn daily things to live a healthy life. You need to learn how to have clean laundry. You need to know how to have all these things, and we do it along with them. So for example, I'll wash the clothes, and Abby knows when she gets home, she hangs them up. And a lot of times I'll go out there with her, or Lalo's outside with Cristiano when he's feeding the animals. But they're learning their education, and then they're also learning their life skills. Their life is not going to be revolved around, I need to make money, I need to make money, I need to make money. We put God first. He's going to provide for you.
Well, no, us as parents, that's what we're here for. We're supposed to make our kids better than we were. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I had to do all these chores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, in turn, you know, maybe made my adult life easier for me.
But I also think it's finding balance from how you grew up as a child. Because my mom she's one of my best friends. She's the best grandma in the world. But if you would have asked my mom when I was 18, because my mom knows I am very free-spirited and I'm an artist and I love being a mom. I love being home with my kids and taking care of them. And if you would ask my mom when I was 18, she would have said, you have to go to college after high school. That was a huge argument between me and her. I said, I don't want to go to college. I was pregnant with Abby. I was like, I want to have my baby. I want to breastfeed. I want to be at home with her. I want to take care of her. This is what I want, you know? And we'd argue about that. But now my mom, because she is open to God and how he changes things in her life, my mom would tell you now, absolutely not. She does not believe that everyone should have to go to college. If they want to be an MRI tech, yes. If they want to be a photographer, probably not. If you want to pursue photography classes in college, you can. If you want to do it outside of college, you can. It's really about how are you going to push towards what's next? How do you push towards that? You can still go to college and not get any benefit from it. You can go to college and get tons of benefit from it.
I can tell you right now, I've done just about anything that you can think of as a job, just about anything, okay? And I don't think I've had a more, what do you call that? A more fulfilling job than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, then building our home and teaching our kids life skills. It's a huge blessing. But like I said, most of our life was based around his residency and his citizenship and immigration, and it's you have to be so careful when you say if they would just do it the right way, because you do not understand what they go through to do it the right way. You do not know if they've been trying to do it the right way for the last 30 years. You don't know. It's hard and it's scary. You just don't know. It's just hard. And you have to have grace and you have to have love towards people. And that's the very first thing. Show them some love. Don't just be like, this is what you should do. How can I help you do this? If this is what you want. You don't think illegal immigrants want to have their papers? That's all they want. That's it. But they're trying to think of how do you do it? How do I go about it? I don't have the means for it at this moment. I'm just trying to get by.
There's just so many obstacles.
Or I don't know where to start. Yeah. Or I'm scared. And it's hard. So just remember not to, if you are going to say, just do it the right way, then go find somebody you can help do it the right way. Go find them and say, how can I help you? Where can we start? What can I do for you? What are your struggles in this? Because if you're not doing something out of love, what are you gonna get from it? Absolutely nothing. You're gonna get nothing from it. You want it to be done the right way, then help it get done the right way. And there are so many people out there who need help, because it's easy for us to go to our jobs and then sit at home and watch the news and get all riled up and worried and concerned. Go out there and do something about it. Change it. Sacrifice a little bit to help someone else, or to help a good cause towards something. For example, when people protest, I'm going to tell you right now, nothing against protesting, but there's so much more better things you can be doing physically to help towards whatever you believe in, instead of just wasting your time. Like, even when people come on here and say, do it the right way. Okay, well, you go do it the right way. You go out there and spread some love and some hope and some grace. If you want to live in a place that does not have immigrants, go help them to change that, because it's very, very hard. And also be willing to understand that things are going to change. People, because they don't have their residency or citizenship, are willing to take the jobs that no one else wants.
We don't want them either. You know what I'm saying? We have to.
They have to. They absolutely have to, because they have. But once that changes, things are going to go up. Prices on things are going to go up. Your teenagers who you don't want washing dishes in the back, someone's going to have to go wash dishes in the back. Like, you guys have to understand you can help. And also washing dishes in the back, Abby actually had to do that as her summer job when she was bussing tables, and that was one of her favorite jobs.
But it wasn't that she had to do it. We told her she had the chance to do it.
Yeah. Any opportunity can lead you forward.
Everything is an opportunity. It's not something that, you know what I mean, that you have to do. You know what I mean? You have to look at it as an opportunity to something else.
Yep, exactly. And our kids, because of that, they know and they've seen in our life God take something and they've seen us push and work so hard towards it and pray towards it and sacrifice towards it. And they've seen it come to life. They've seen God do so many good things in our life. And they've also seen us treat people so good. They've seen us love people. They see us not thinking a doctor is any different than a dishwasher or somebody who has to work on a farm. We love them exactly the same. It actually brings our family joy when we have the opportunity to help people.
But you know what people don't understand is that, or maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe people don't see that all those people that, you know, we take for granted every day are needed every day. Like I just said, there's a guy out there that's making money because we decided that we weren't gonna get off our car and wipe down our windshield. You know what I mean? That guy's making money for doing that.
Right.
And that guy's needed every day. The person that sweeps, the person that cleans your hotel rooms, anybody like that we overlook, you know what I mean, is needed every single day. That's insane to me.
Right. And then I'm just trying to get to some of your guys' questions because, hold on one moment. Okay, and somebody did say on here, thousands protested peacefully in Dallas today for immigration reform and immigrants' rights, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm more talking about protests that get out of hand, that aren't peaceful, and people are just getting out of hand. The way I personally see it is there's so much love and joy we can bring into into other people's lives.
Carmen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who?
That it's just hard for me. It's hard to see because we've had it even in our own family, you guys, where people say things that I'm just like, how could you think that way? If that's how you think, why don't you go change it? Why don't you do something about it? Why is it okay for you just to say it, but not know a Hispanic family that you're physically helping and you're like, how can I help? What can I do? If that makes sense, you know what I mean? People have so many big opinions.
There's a guy on TikTok named Murph's Life, and this guy has donated millions and millions and millions of dollars to helping people in South America and all over the world. It is amazing what people can do when they actually want to help people.
Yes. There is, you guys, I am telling you, there is no better feeling in the world when you can give to somebody in a big way and there is no expectation of they are paying you back, they're giving back anything, just that it brings their family joy. I feel like for me, that is one of the best things. Every time we get an opportunity, I'm like, yes, it feels so good to me. It feels better than buying new clothes.
The thing is, like, I don't know if you Aaron grew up watching, you know, like random acts of kindness like that, but I got to see a lot of that from my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I mentioned out here, but my dad used to sell at the swap meet, and my dad would give things to people all the time. You know what I mean? Because he's seen that they were in need of that thing.
Right.
So I got to see a lot of that from my dad as well.
And then let me answer this real quick. Somebody said somebody was mad that somebody didn't speak English and they lived in the United States, and he told them, why don't you volunteer to teach them English? And just to bring that up as well, people don't get mad at me here that I don't speak Spanish. They joke with me a little bit, but they are very patient and kind with me. I don't think I've ever had someone be like racist towards me or be like, we didn't want you here, why are you here? I don't think ever. I have, even in other towns and other cities, I have been like welcomed with open arms. Yeah. I think the only time it's a little hard is in the school, because I know they get a little bit frustrated with me that, for example, I don't know if anyone caught it or not because I didn't see it in the comments. Penelope was wearing a red shirt for the Hulu thing, and then the other kids were all wearing white.
Again, but because all the messages go through WhatsApp, and then
Yes.
so Aaron gets frustrated, doesn't want to read all the messages, and then asks Pee-Pee, "Hey, what color are you supposed to be wearing?" Okay. Red.
But but tell them how many messages I might get in one day.
There's so many. Within 2 hours, we had like 75 messages, just random messages.
From every different group, so then you're copying and pasting, but not only that, the moms and all of us are so close that some decisions might be made in the WhatsApp group, but then the other half of the decisions might be made by talking to each other. And so, and then the little girls had their Halulu skirts, their Hawaiian skirts.
Yeah, wait, let me tell you guys something. They had it like, have you saw those videos where they could crochet those little animal things? That's how it was.
Yeah.
It was, Pee-Pee's friend
crocheted.
came up to me and her skirt
Was
like, there was like details. Okay, on the top, it was like crocheted like this.
I don't know what they're called, the Hawaiian skirts. Every single little girl had a crocheted, because it was like this plastic string, crocheted. I was so embarrassed. Penelope wasn't embarrassed. She was so happy. But what I did, because the moms had to make the skirts, and they just give you this ball of what would look like yarn, but it was plastic.
Yeah, it was like this stuff. It was like this.
This is how the skirt was crocheted, with like flowers crocheted into it. Yeah. I didn't know, okay? They just told me, they gave me the balls of plastic, and they said, you have to make her skirt. And I said, I don't know how. And they were like...
And she literally used red fabric from like a piece of fabric she cut up to make the red shirt.
That's not even the worst of it. When they had their skirts crocheted, because I never know until the day of the event, okay? Because everybody likes to have the most unique thing, so they keep it in their house. They don't want anybody else to see it. So what I did is I went on YouTube and I looked up how to make a Hawaiian skirt, like DIY. So what they did is they just would grab a couple chunks and loop it through and pull. And I was like, okay, that's great. I was up all night looping and pulling. It was really chunky and big. Penelope was so happy. And then we walk up and I'm like, you guys, I wish I had a photo to show you the difference between Penelope and the other kid, and then she had on her red shirt. So that's the only time I think they get a little frustrated with me, is that I threw it all off. Penelope's skirt wasn't right, and then she had on a red skirt, and it was frustrating for them, and it's frustrating for me. So that's where I sometimes get frustrated in Mexico, is when a school event comes up.
My friend was talking to me the other day. She's like one of my best friends. And she put something I can't remember, and she's like, and then her mom was like, and then she told me that her mom said, no, that's not true. And then she's like, I hang out with this friend all the time, and she's like, that's not true. You always be hanging out with the gringuita. And I'm like,
oh,
the gringuita?
No, yeah, they call me Gringuita, because you know everybody has a nickname, and all the kids in the ranch call me Mama, and all the adults call me Gringuita.
So many kids, because people here only have like 3 or 2. No, Mommy has 4.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. I have a conspiracy theory about this, you guys. And I'm telling you, you bet. I want you to ask anyone who is around my age, I'm 35, if they have had a natural birth in Mexico. Now, by natural, I mean just, that way, not including pain medicine or anything. every single person I know on this ranch has had a C-section.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Has had a C-section.
You almost missed that.
Good night, family. Amaze Annabelle has been there since the beginning. I know I'm surprised. She's chismosa. She wants to be in on all this. So every...
that's another thing. We can't, like, talk about certain things around the kids now, because now they learn Spanish. So, like, they'll listen in on my mom, on the phone and stuff.
No. She can't. Grandma Hilda can't get away with anything no more. So let me tell you guys this. Every mom I know in the ranch has had a C-section. And there's a ton of moms. Almost every mom here only has 3 kids. This would be my generation, okay? And I'm like, why is this? Well, once they have the 3rd, they say that they have to have their tubes tied. This is for here in Mexico because there's too much scar tissue or something, I don't know. So it's weird to me that my husband's grandpa had 11 kids, all of them from their house, but then every single mother here has a C-section.
Aaron, you know the answer to this. Because, so, we're so rural. A lot of the places
even in
here,
Guadalajara.
I know, but let me tell you why, okay? So, in order for that particular doctor to make money, he has to be present while you're in labor. He doesn't necessarily have to deliver the baby, but has to be present while you're in labor.
Right.
Okay? So they schedule a USA section because they know that they can put it on their schedule and be there when they need to be there.
I think it's because they don't want people having more than 3 children.
I don't think that's
Because it's so odd to me that everybody has to get their tubes tied after 3. So and even in Guadalajara, like people I know out there, which is the 2nd biggest city in Mexico, a lot of them have had C-sections. Now, I think if you pay a lot more...
Somebody said that they all have the same doctor.
Probably. No, it's just, they do that. They'll tell you, like, a week before your due date, they'll give you a C-section. So there's only one mom I know who didn't have a C-section, and she told me she thought she was going to, but then I think her labor went too fast.
And somebody asked if you ever had a natural birth.
Yes. Oh, you guys want to know a story? You guys want to know a story? This is why you don't play around in your prayers. Here's what happened. I had Abigail, which is my first, and I had an epidural with her, but I remember it still hurt, okay? Like, but not the same as natural labor. I had Abigail. My husband kept putting this cloth over my face, and I could have destroyed him. He was like crying. He was putting a cloth over my face. It was supposed to be on my forehead, and he kept putting it over my eyes.
Listen to me. The stinking nurse that was there was like, here, you can hold this over her head so that...
My head, you kept putting it on my eyes.
Because you kept moving, so it kept going down on your eyes. Okay, and I was over there trying to see whoever was being born.
No, he was crying so hard. I don't think he could see.
You poked me in both eyes, like boom.
No, my husband was bawling, and we had a bet if he would cry or not. Because mi esposo es muy macho, okay? And like we didn't know like if and he was crying so hard. So anyways, I get pregnant with my second, which is Cristiano. And I said, I want to do this naturally. So I prayed, and I messed up, you guys. I said, God, if I can do it naturally, please let me. Now I'm going to tell you something. When you watch those moms on YouTube have those nice natural births, I don't know how, okay? So I get to the hospital, and I lasted as long as I could, but my water wouldn't break. So I was already at 7 centimeters, and my water wasn't broke yet. So you have the baby, then you have all this pressure from the water. I am screaming at the top of my lungs. Never yelled that loud in my life. And I remember looking over, and my sister and Lalo are looking at each other trying not to laugh because I'm screaming out of my mind. I'm arching my back like I didn't know what was happening. And there was a cross above the door, and I just kept looking at it like, is he gonna let me live through this? So I said, I want the epidural. So I got the epidural, and nothing changed. And the nurse came back in. I said, I feel everything. And she goes, it must be in the wrong spot. And I said, can you please redo it? And she said, yes. I'm not kidding you guys. They had to have come in 4 different times to try to place this epidural properly. It would not work. I was screaming. And then finally, my water still hadn't broke because the doctor couldn't get to the hospital in time, and it was just nurses. So they didn't want to break my water. I finally pushed hard enough, my water broke, and I had to push Cristiano out. It was the most horrific moment of my life. I prayed for it though. So after that, I had Annabelle and Penelope and epidural. Everything went fine, everything. But for Cristiano, I prayed, if I can do it on my own, please let me. And I did, and it was bad. It was bad. I don't know if it's because I had to sit in a hospital bed. I don't know if like you're in a bath, if that helps, but I don't know how it could help because it's the inside feelings.
That make it bad.
Oh wait, somebody said you never told us the bathroom story in Chapala. You said a while ago when you talked about the wild horse in Chapala. Oh, I can't tell you guys that story. That was so horrid.
Yeah.
That bathroom story. Don't say it if it's inappropriate. That I've had some bad bathroom stories in Mexico.
Yeah, when she had to wipe with a mango peel.
They never have toilet paper anywhere.
What in the world is going on right now?
When you go to Mexico, be prepared for the public restrooms if there is any. Okay.
Yeah, because in my dad's car, he always be having toilet paper.
Yup,
there.
I'm prepared.
Yeah, he has like 5 rolls of toilet paper in his car. And my mom, in her car, nothing. All she has is like some sanitizer. And she's like, okay.
Somebody said at least you wiped.
No, we have had horrific bathroom stories. I don't play games with bathrooms in Mexico. If I have an upset stomach, I don't go nowhere. Like, you don't leave. So don't come to Mexico thinking, you know,
You're
it's
gonna
the
be
States.
used to the food.
Hold on. So somebody keeps asking the same question. Salvador Milan, no sé todavía.
What?
So he wants to know what the cost of the new house is going to be.
5,000.
Pesos?
Yeah.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah, the new house, we're not 100% sure yet. A lot of people ask, how can you afford to build a house in Mexico? And me and my husband sold everything in the United States. And we always kept a savings. And then when he worked, we kept a savings because we knew one day if we decided we were going to do this and God bless us to make it, we would build. And that opportunity finally came up. So we had money put aside to build. Now, that money also was going to be for if we decided years on, we're not making it. This was going to be our money to put a down payment for a home in the United States. So we always had that in the back of our mind.
Somebody also said, do you ever plan to return to the United States?
No.
God willing, I would love to stay here, and my family enjoys Mexico. My mom plans her trips here now. My sister is coming in July. So we all enjoy it, but you guys, it's God's will for me, and this is where I want to stay, it's where I want to be. That's why we're building our home a little bigger so that our children can stay with us and bring their grandbabies as long as they need to. How God wrote your love story.
She was working at a taco restaurant.
Was I? And then what?
Yeah, you work with Connie.
No, that was before that. I didn't even know Mexican tacos were a real thing. You guys, I had no idea there was such thing as a Mexican taco when I met my husband.
Well, Connie's tacos are actually really good.
They're good, but I didn't work there yet.
And her rice is very good.
If you guys want to know real quick how me and my husband met and started dating, you guys let me know and I will tell you a little bit more in detail of that story.
You're probably going to hear the more whimsical side of the story.
Whimsical.
I can remember the exact moment I
My
thought you were.
gosh.
No, I can remember the exact moment I thought you were attractive.
When?
I gotta see if people want to hear it or not, because if not, it's.
Do you want to
kinda-
hear it? Oh, yeah, look at that lady.
So I'm gonna go in depth, and I'm not gonna hold back, you guys.
No, listen. Somebody said yes. Make a video, please.
Okay, yes. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go in depth. So I'm gonna tell you guys, my husband, you'd never dated a gringa, had you?
Mm-hmm.
My husband had never dated a white girl before, okay? He
Wow.
dated beautiful Mexicanas. So I don't even know how he.
Somebody said you should tell. You should both tell your own version of what happened.
Okay, I want you to go first then.
No, because you're gonna
No,
say the
because
whimsical.
No, I want you to go first then.
No. You tell your story and then I'll tell them what I thought happened. Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you the first time. My husband is a couple years older than me. So when I was in high school, my husband and his family lived right next to the high school. And his sister is my age, and we went to the same high school, and we were really good friends. And
Well,
so.
wait. You gotta tell them what age they said.
What age was?
What?
What age did this
Okay,
happen?
so the first time I seen my husband, I was 16. But let me tell you, my husband says it's whimsical, but I swear to you guys, this is how it happened.
I know, but this is how you think.
No,
okay?
but this is how God gave it to me.
No. Listen, because we've talked about this before about the whole apple situation. Remember, you're like, when you see when you can picture an apple in your head,
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't even picture an apple.
Can I ask you something real quick?
What?
When you think of the number 7, what color is it?
Red.
You think in colors?
What color? If you just think of the number 7 in a color, what color would it be?
I don't know. Black.
Mine is yellow. Like every number I think of as a different color. Numbers are colors to me.
One is pink.
Yeah. 8 is red.
This is ridiculous.
No, it's so weird. And then, but anyways, okay, yes. So we're a little bit different. 2 versions. You're gonna get the colorful theatrical version, and my husband does not remember the first day seeing me. So I was 16, and before I met my husband, I had only dated like white guys. Okay, like I didn't really think about it. And then my best friend Jennifer, that was his sister. She had brothers, and I knew one of the brothers because he was in school with us as well. His name was Sergio. And then every once in a while, her oldest brother, Jesus, would give me and Jennifer a ride to their house. I had no idea she had another brother, okay? Say this was 15. By the time I was 6 a year later, I still had no idea she had another brother because my husband worked so much. Even when I was at her house, I didn't see him. So one day, her brother came to pick her up, and I said, hey, can I get a ride home? And she said, yeah. And I remember what car it was and everything. It was called a Saab. And it was stick shift.
It was Gray's 4-door stick shift Saab. I don't know what the model of it.
And there's a whole nother story why I didn't have my license at 16. We'll go into that another day. It involves crying, almost crashing the car. I couldn't see. It was a big mess. Anyways, that's another day. So
wait, what? You can't say that and then not deliver.
there's
the
a whole
story.
reason I didn't have a driver's license. So anyways, neither did your sisters. It doesn't matter. So I get in the back seat, and my best friend gets in the front, and I still couldn't see his face. He just had a head out, and he had a bunch of long curly hair. And my friend goes, oh, this is my brother Lalo. And I'm in the back, and he turns around, and he goes like this. Just doesn't say a word, just like this. But I see his side profile. I'm like, okay, because my husband was joven, okay? And he looked so good. And I was like, oh my gosh, her brother. I'm thinking in my head, he is cute. I didn't even know she had another brother. But that's all I thought because he was older than us. And so they dropped us off, and he didn't talk. Like, he very, very quiet, didn't talk at all. So he dropped us
because I was
off.
tired by working a 12-hour shift.
Right, because it was rare you picked us up. Probably only twice in my whole high school life did you pick us up for anything. So all out through high school, I'd probably only seen him twice or 3 times. And so then I seen him, I was like, oh, he's really cute. And then if I seen him in the house, at their house, he always had his hood over his head, and he would be in the living room and he'd fall asleep, and then he'd go up to his room because he was working. But I thought he was cute, but I didn't see him as attractive like that because I had other boyfriends at the time and I was younger. And he had other girlfriends, like Mexican girlfriends. Oh my gosh.
Tells you.
Don't worry, I've already stalked them down with Abigail a couple times.
What is wrong with you?
It was like, don't let your dad know we're stalking them down. Okay, anyways, so going forward, my senior year, I was so used to going to her house all the time. It felt like my home. Our senior year, we graduate, and I just turned 18, and my best friend Jennifer, his sister, she left for Mexico with her mom and dad because her dad just got his residency. So it was the first time he had been back. And so I would still go to her house and hang out with her other brothers that I knew well because one of them was in school with me. But then one day I love riding my bike and like hiking and stuff. And
Hold on, so Erin, when she had her horse in Michigan, she
yeah,
would
I had a
ride her bike from her house all the way to where she boarded her horse. How
which
far
was
do you think?
7 miles. I did it once in the car.
One way?
One way.
My God.
Yeah, so I would ride my bike from my house to there. So I loved riding my bike. And then my Lalo at the time, I remember there being an extra bike at the house. And one day, he was the only one at the house. And I said, do you want to go for a bike ride? And we went for a bike ride pretty far. And I just remember us having a lot of fun. And it was so weird because I was like, this is weird. We're like connecting, and I didn't do that with her other brothers. Like we didn't go for bike rides and stuff like that. And then after that, we just started spending time together. So I never went out to eat in my house. We always had food at home, like sandwiches and stuff like that. It was rare if we went anywhere to eat. And I always worked since the time I was 15. So if I ever had extra money, I always used it for gas or buying new clothes. I never went out to eat. So when I started spending time with Lalo, he would always go out to eat, and he'd bring me and he'd pay for me. And I remember it feeling so good that somebody was taking care of me. I don't know if that sounds wrong or not, but it felt like a relief to have someone with me all the time that I enjoyed being with. And we enjoyed doing the same things, and we loved food. And I never got to go out and eat food. And he would bring me to different places that I had never been to. Not fancy places, but like sub shops, pizza places, things like that. And he would pay for me, and he'd pay for my gas. And it just felt like for some reason like I could take a deep breath. And I loved being with him. And I had other boyfriends, and I never felt that way. Okay, and the second thing, and you guys, I don't know what people are gonna think, but I don't know what to tell you, okay? But when I started to get to know my husband more, but he wasn't my husband at the time we were dating, he had a little nephew. His name was Anthony. And he had to have been 1.5 at the time. And it was like...
Hold on, somebody said that's called a real man.
Yeah, no, it was. He took care of me, and it felt so good. It felt like this weight lifted off my shoulder. And so then he had this little nephew named Anthony, and he was probably 1.5. And I loved this little boy. He had this beautiful tan skin and these like chino curls. And he would always be like, can you bring me to McDonald's? And I would be like, I'm gonna bring you to McDonald's. Okay, I loved him. And that was when I was like, I cannot have a white baby. I need to have the most beautiful little Mexican baby. And I already loved my husband. But at this time, I kind of knew his residency status, but it was nothing we ever even thought about. Like, we were enjoying our life so much. Bike riding, going out to eat. And then he would always bring me stuff to work. and he would come see me after work. And
Hold on. Somebody said, so Julie Mustard said, I need to know what Jennifer said when she got back to Michigan. Laugh out loud.
If I'm being honest, she was really mad. Wasn't she mad? She was mad, rightfully so, because we were best friends and we spent so much time with each other. And I had known her brothers for years and years and years, and I never dated any of them. So for her to come back from Mexico, they were gone for a while, like 4 months or something.
Yeah.
4 months. Okay, and at the time we didn't have, me and Jennifer both, I don't even know if you did, we didn't have smartphones. So she couldn't even call me for like us to.
I had one of those Razor.
Yeah, you had like a
phones.
Razor flip phone. So Jennifer couldn't even call me. We couldn't even check up on each other. Oh, this is chismosa. You guys want to know the worst part of it? Remember when Lorena and them told your mom
What?
that we were dating?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so sometimes you might see her in in my vlogs, but the butcher who owns the butcher shop, should I tell them this or no?
It's up to you.
Should I tell you guys or no? Because
Cut it,
this
cut
is
it, cut
so bad. So I was really close with Lalo's mom and dad as well, because I was always at the house. Even though they didn't speak English, I was still really close with them. And you got to think, their son Lalo, when they left, he had just broken up with his girlfriend like a couple months before that, and then he's very quiet and things like that. So they had a bigger house because it was like an old historical home in Michigan. So who owns the butchers down here, she and someone else lived at the house as well. They had the bedroom right next door to my husband's. And I got pregnant with Abby at 18, you guys, okay? I was in love. I knew, not saying that's right. I wish I would have got married first, but I knew my husband was the one. There was no other people I dated before that ever I would have been so, what is that word? Like
Happy.
Like outgoing, okay? So these girls, they are his cousins. They stayed in the bedroom next to ours, but they worked all the time, so I hardly ever seen them. So I didn't think how we were gonna tell Lalo and his mom, and they must have known I was at the house a lot, and they called Lalo's mom like a month later and told her, Aaron is staying the night at the house with Lalo. Okay, they were the chismosos. And your mom called you, and I don't know what she said, but I was terrified because I knew your sister knew this.
I think she just asked.
Well, what'd she say?
Like if we were dating, or if you were just staying the night there, or what?
What'd you say?
I think I told you that we were dating at the time.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was terrified. So then we start dating, and then I'll be honest with you guys, but it gets worse from this point.
Wow.
So remember how my mom found out we were dating?
Oh yeah.
It gets worse from this point. No, I got pregnant.
Cristiano's over there sitting there with his freaking jaw wide open.
He's like smiling so big listening to this story. So I'm 18 at the time, you guys, just so you know. I didn't get pregnant more towards when I was almost 19, but I was 18 at the time. So me and Lalo are dating, and his mom finds out because the people staying at the house somehow called Mexico and told on us, and then they called Lalo. Now, at this time, only my sisters knew I was dating my husband. If you have sisters, you know how that is. Like, you tell them everything. But my mom didn't know, and I'm going to tell you why.
Somebody said the cheese man's good.
My mom did not want me, I don't want to say dating. She did not want me serious dating. She wanted me in college. She wanted me moving on up, okay? And not me. I had Mexican baby dreams. I was ready to be Mexicana with my husband, but I couldn't tell my mom that. So, and like I said, my family's white, so our life is just a little different. Now, my dad wasn't necessarily like that. He was more go with the flow like me. So anyways, I didn't tell my mom. I hid it for so long, you guys. And one day, because I was always at my husband's house, but one day I was at my house, and my husband was hugging me, but he was my boyfriend at the time, and my mom walks in. And my mom was holding groceries, and she dropped them.
Who said, dang?
My mom was holding groceries, and she dropped them because she came through the front door, and my husband ran for his life to the car. You did not stay there. You ran to the car. You did not stay, and he had never.
Not me. My
husband and my mom have the best relationship now. Okay, like they are best friends. But at the time, my mom didn't know who this person was. She had no idea. She had never met Jennifer's other brother.
Man, what was I doing there?
You were hugging me in the middle of the living room. Okay, my mom walks in and drops the groceries. And my husband runs to the car.
You ran?
He didn't say a word. He ran. And it was awkward for a minute. And my mom read in the groceries. And she's like, are you dating him? And I was like, yeah, that's Jennifer's brother. And I was like, I'm dating him. I just kind of like him. I love him. I'm like in love, head over heels. And she's, okay, I'm going to tell you this part, but my mom is half the reason my husband has his residency and citizenship, because she helped so much. But at the time, one of the first questions she asked me is he an immigrant? And
So somebody said, who has tahini for my popcorn?
So my mom goes, is he an immigrant? And I had no idea what that word meant. I knew that his mom and dad went to Mexico and they hadn't been there in a long time.
Immigrant.
But I had no idea why or what that meant. And I had been in their family for years, and it was nothing anybody ever talked about. I went to school with Mexican people. I never knew. I just didn't know. And I said, well, what's an immigrant? And she goes, somebody who can't be here legally. So my mom had to explain all this to me. And I said, well, I don't know. And she goes, well, okay. So I can see why my mom was taken off guard, because I had only ever dated white people, ever, in my whole entire life. My family, my mom married a white man. You know, like, it must have been shocking to her, I guess, because I kept it a secret.
But wait, why was that the first thing your mom asked you?
I don't know. And then second, she asked if I was on birth control, and I was like, don't let me get into the hormonal conspiracy theories about all that. But I was like, no, okay, I don't even know how you would go about any of that. And I was like, second of all, I don't know if he's an immigrant or not. So then my mom was pissed, okay, you guys. She was so mad. She met Lalo, though, and they slowly became closer and closer, and now they're best friends. They love each other. But, okay, so now we're at the part where I said I'm dating a Mexican, and she said, is he an immigrant? And to this day, she swears she doesn't remember asking me that, but she did.
Somebody said every live you need to talk about a conspiracy theory.
No, you don't even want me to get into it, you guys, because I'm a nervous wreck about certain things. So then, my mom's already mad because she doesn't know who I'm dating, and she's scared he's an illegal immigrant, which he was. But who would have known that, okay? So then we start dating, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to tell you, but I love him, and this is who I'm staying with. My dad was so happy. He didn't really, I mean, maybe he said things to my mom, but he didn't really care.
This is better than novelas.
It gets more into it, you guys, because wait till I had to tell her I was pregnant 2 months later. So I start dating my... Okay, now Abby's commenting, and she's already in the other room.
She's like 5
The whole
years
family's out here. You guys can't see it, but Christiana's on this. Penelope's probably hiding around the corner.
I was just doing some, just doing
He was playing Minecraft.
Okay, all my kids are making rude comments, but you're here because of me and your dad. Okay, so then I get pregnant and I didn't think I was. So me and my husband go to Walmart because that used to be our thing. My husband would work late and then he'd get out of work and we'd always go walk around Walmart and find things we'd want to make for lunch the next day. I don't know why, but Walmart's special when I think about me you going there at night.
Well, it was either Walmart. Well, I think that was the closest thing to us.
It was Walmart.
Walmart or Myers.
Right. So we go to Walmart and I told my husband, I think I need to take a pregnancy test. And I was like, but I did not think it was positive, you guys, like at all. So I go into the bathroom stall and I take the test and I can still remember vividly to this day exactly what test it was. And one pink line comes up and I'm like, oh, one pink line. And then 2 seconds later, another pink line comes up and I'm like, no way. There's no way. That's not possible. And then right away, what flashes into my mind is, I'm gonna have the most beautiful Mexican baby. And then the second thing is, my mom is going to destroy me. Destroy me. Okay? So I get out and I tell my husband, and I remember exactly where you were standing.
Somebody said 4 kids equals lots of hugging.
Yeah, no, it equals lots of hugging. So my husband was standing like by the magazine section. I don't know if they even still have that. And I told him, I said, I'm pregnant. And he just gave me a big hug. And he's like, everything's gonna be okay. He gave me a big hug. He said, everything's gonna be okay. And I was crying and I said, I'm not telling my mom. I already started making out the plan in my head. I'm not telling my mom until I'm 5 months. I'm hiding it. She's never gonna know. And my husband said,
oh, I'm doing
okay.
I'm doing a whole bunch of cheat codes right now. I got a whole bunch
Okay,
of characters.
you guys, it's back on, and my husband is laughing so hard reading your guys' comments. Okay, so I'm gonna give everybody a minute to get back on because the next part of the story is me having to tell my mom
that was the real chisme of the whole story.
Right, that I'm pregnant
Yeah,
2 months after she finds out I'm dating an illegal immigrant. Okay.
I was gonna tell you about some chisme waiting, but I forgot about what I was gonna say.
My husband said, okay, unplug it. And everybody, even the kids are bummed. Okay, bad commercial break. Okay, so I tell my husband we're in Walmart, and I tell my husband I'm not telling my mom. She's already mad that I'm dating an illegal immigrant, and that I am changing my life up a little bit. Okay, so he said you have to tell her. Now, this goes back to my husband taking care of me. Like, when he'd take me out to eat or pay for my gas, he was always taking care of me. Somebody else could have been like, okay, we're not going to tell her because they're scared. But my husband was probably scared, but he has a lot of integrity. He knows what the right thing is to do. Oh, like, it makes my stomach hurt thinking about it because, like, it was so bad. So... and I was my dad's little baby, okay? So I was nervous about telling him, but more so my mom. So I get to the house with my husband, and I go into the room with my sister. Her name's Jessica. We're best friends always, okay? And I go in the room, and I shut the door, and I said, Jessica, I have to tell you something. And she gets on the bed, and she's like, what is it? She had to have known, okay? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And she's like, oh my gosh, no way. And she's like smiling because she knows it's a lot, but she's really, really happy. Here he comes.
I just want to say, whoever said the chisme overloaded the breakers, that was probably the best comment.
Where's Lalo? Okay, Lalo's back. Okay, so we go to my mom's house. I did not want to tell my mom, you guys. I would have waited. I would have hid it till I was like 7 months pregnant. I'm not even joking. Wouldn't I have hid it? I wouldn't have told her. So my husband goes, no, we have to tell her. Oh, it makes me scared. So we go in the room and I tell my sister, and my sister's like, all right, I'm going to go get mom, but just remember everything's going to be okay. So my mom comes in the room and she's already so mad because having 4 girls must be a lot, okay, especially as teenagers and stuff. And she goes, what is it? And she goes, you better not be pregnant. And I was like,
But how did she know?
I think because it was just, and like my sister Emily, most of you know her, the door was shut and she told me she was standing under the door listening because I wouldn't tell her anything because I used to be mean to her. I'm not anymore, but I used to be. And my mom goes, you might not be pregnant. And I was like, I'm pregnant. And she just kept saying, how did this happen? How did this happen? She was so mad. And I kept thinking, does she want me to like answer how did it happen? Or is she just venting?
Like,
I was so scared.
We should get grandma on this live.
I know, mom would be, no, because my mom would be like, I didn't say that. I swear to you, she swears she never remembers. And she was so mad and she's like, I don't know how this happened. And she was talking to herself though. She's like, I don't know how this could have happened. So then my dad's in his bedroom and he had this chair he always sat on. And my dad has passed away.
Somebody said, well, Mom, when 2 people hug.
I know, and me and my sister Jessica, to this day, we laugh about this because we're like, for the next 9 months, she kept telling people, like, I just don't know how this happened. And me and Jessica would always laugh, and we're like, we know how it happened, okay? So I go in, and my mom's like, you're gonna have to tell your dad, all mad.
Dude, this is like the Rosa de Guadalupe type
And
chisme.
yeah, so my mom goes into her bedroom, and I wait a minute to go in because I'm scared to tell him, and because I'm like his little baby, and I go in and I go, Dad, you know I'm pregnant, and he gets up and gives me the biggest hug. It makes me emotional thinking about it because you know, even when you're married and you have your life together, when you find out you're pregnant, it's really scary. It's really scary. And my dad gave me a really big hug and he goes, I love you so much and I love your baby and everything's gonna be okay. And my mom's sitting on the bed like this. I was like so mad and my dad's...
Grandma's not mean, so don't even try to make her seem mean.
She's not mean, but my mom is just very strong. She's a strong woman, okay? And her strength has gotten me through so much. So I don't hold it against her for being mad because she had a balance. She was very strong. My dad was very sweet, a little more calm, a little more laid back. So they balanced each other. But my dad gave me a big hug and he said, I just want to let you know I love you. Everything's going to be okay. And you're keeping your baby. I don't want you to think anything else. Even though I wasn't thinking that. My dad just said that to me. He's like, I want you to know you're keeping your baby and our family's gonna be here to take care of it. And I said, okay, Dad, you know I love you. And after that, me and my dad went like maternity shopping and things like that. And my mom was still like, I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, you guys go celebrate it.
So, okay. Now, after I told my mom, I had to leave and go tell Lalo's mom. So we walk into Lalo's house.
Wait, somebody asked what did I do while you were telling your mom?
He just stood behind me and was just there for me. He didn't really say much else because my husband is quiet anyways.
No, at the time, I didn't really have a relationship with your parents. Like, we didn't really know each other that well.
No, they didn't know each other that well. And like I said, though, him and my mom are best friends now. They love each other. But I'm just being honest with you guys how it went down. So then we get to his mom's house, and we walk in, and I can remember this so vividly. His family, his dad was sitting in his bedroom watching TV, and his mom was in the kitchen, and she had a rag in her hand. I remember her having a rag, and she was like drying her hands off.
And she pow her.
No, and Lalo tells her in Spanish, he goes, Mom, I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? Like that? You know, she wasn't mad or anything. She just thought it was like some sort of chisme. She's like, what? And I remember her.
Somebody said, legends say Aaron's mom's still currently wondering how it happened.
No, she might do it. And I don't think my mom meant it in that way. I think my mom probably
Was like shot.
my mom probably thought, did I fail as a parent? My daughter got pregnant so young, she's barely been named this person. I think when she said, how did that happen? She's probably thinking, what led up to this? But me and my sister do joke around about that. But Hilda was standing there holding her towel and she's like, what is that? You know, like that. She's like standing there like this, and I was like, you know, Erin's pregnant, and she was like, "Ay, Dios mío!" and like threw the rag, and she was like jumping in the air, so happy. Okay, it was her first grandbaby ever, but I remember the rag specifically because she like threw it in the air, and I was like, I was not expecting that, and she was so happy, and then we had to go tell Lalo's dad, and he was so kind, but he was very serious, and he talked to Lalo for like an hour in the bedroom. And I remember my husband started crying as my father-in-law was talking to him, and I'd never seen it's very, very rare my husband cries. So to this day, I don't really know what he said because it was in Spanish.
He pretty much said the same thing that your dad said. You know what I mean? It was more
Happy tears.
Yeah, like supportive than
anything
negative.
else.
Yeah.
Now, once Abigail was born, my mom went from upset to she was my biggest support. Like, I would be breastfeeding all day, all night, and my mom would bring me in food and sandwiches, and she loves the grandbabies. But it was rough, you guys. I don't know if any of you have had to tell your mom you were pregnant at a certain age. But I think my mom struggled because she had babies young and it was rough for her, and she didn't go back to school. She's MRI tech now, but she didn't go back to school till we were a little bit older. And I think that was just hard for her.
No chancla was thrown.
No, she was so happy. She could not wait to have a grandbaby.
My dad was too. My dad absolutely loved Abigail.
My friends call the chancla la chancla voladora.
Well, what does that mean?
Like the flying chancla?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll let my husband give his side of it, but I gave you guys a lot. Most people don't know that much.
Listen, I can't even, that was like too much for me to even listen to, okay? My thing is like, I remember driving to Saab, okay? And then I had
You
to
don't remember seeing me, do you?
Yeah, but I remember
Oh,
like I was
okay.
taking a nap because I think I had work later that day. And then I had to go pick you up, so I was like, damn it, I gotta go drive to the stinking school. And then I remember asking you if you were going to our house or your house.
And you dropped me off at my house.
Dropped you off at the house.
Taco dance.
And then I remember like, you know, like the whole cheeseman situation with my cousins and stuff.
But when was the first time you knew you really liked me? Like, what was different about me? Because you had dated other women that you probably could have married.
I don't know what.
Think
I
of
think
something
you just,
good.
No, it's not like a thing. It's like, I think I just knew it, kind of like you said. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, because you were obviously dating other people too, but you know what I mean? You didn't feel that way with anybody else, and neither did I.
And I remember, you guys, my husband, when we started more seriously dating, his dad had called him and asked if he would give him money to put towards the house here in Mexico, the house that we're living in right now. And we weren't married, we didn't have Abby at the time, so I didn't.
He saw the inner Lupita.
He saw the inner Lupita. He's like, there's some Mexican in her, I can. And his dad called him and was like, do you want to pitch in some money towards building this home? And my husband said yes. And I remember they were talking on the phone, and my husband had to pull up his bank account, and he had $7,000 in his savings. And I was like, my boyfriend's rich, okay? Like, I didn't know anybody who had $7,000 in savings because my parents didn't, you know, and I was like, he has $7,000 in his savings. So I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, my man has it together. But then, there was another thing. When I was pregnant with Abby, I was terrified I was gonna have a white baby. And I remember during the winter in Michigan, you stay inside a lot. It's almost like you're hibernating. And that was the only time I wasn't working, was when I was pregnant with that, because since I was 15, I was always working, going to school or working.
Go get some popcorn.
So my husband was working, I didn't have to work, and I remember being home and I'd watch a thing called Birth Story, because we didn't have Netflix or anything. So you would watch people's birth story on, I don't know what channel it was. And all these women that looked like me had really white and red babies with bald hair, and I was just like,
Somebody said Lupita was a gold digger.
Well, I don't know if it was that. I just remember it felt good to be taken care of. And I know there's some people that are like, I can take care of myself. And I'd always taken care of myself since I was younger, but it felt good. And I still worked even when I was dating my husband, but it felt good to have that balance of he enjoyed taking care of me. And that's something to this day that I love. My husband is like my ride or die. I know he would sacrifice anything to make sure we are taken care of. And that's something I absolutely love about him. And I think that's a lot in the Hispanic culture, is families taken care of. That's just a given. But I was terrified I was gonna have a white baby.
Somebody said it was the bike ride that did it.
No, one time I seen you opening the garage and you were kind of buff, and I was like, that was before your sister had left for Mexico. And I was like, because my husband's kind of strong, he has a lot of arm strength. I was like, oh, he's kind of buff. So I was scared to have a white baby, and I remember praying. I was like, Lord, I really want to have
a black baby.
No!
What? What'd she say?
How could I have that?
What'd she say?
She said, I was like, I really want to have, and Annabelle said, a black baby. I really want. Annabelle, no, I really want to have a Mexican baby, because like I said, his little nephew Anthony had the cutest black curly hair. So when Abby came out when she was born, she was so tan, and she had the most hair out of any of our babies.
It says, Aaron fell in love at first sight. Lalo fell in love after either a 12 or 14-hour work shift.
Wait, when did you think you fell in love? Okay, let me ask you this. What did you feel when I told you I was pregnant with Abby?
I felt joy, I think.
Or were you scared?
I wasn't scared, like,
Mom, somebody commented,
'cause-
were you happy? Was Jennifer happy when you were pregnant?
that was
No.
kind of like,
No?
Yeah, when I was pregnant, yeah, she was happy.
No, it's weird. Your
That
best
was kinda
friend's
like,
name was Jennifer, and my best friend's name is Jennifer.
That's true.
that was kind of like, you know, something I knew I had to do. It wasn't like I was nervous about it, or,
Right.
you know, I knew that, you know, I wasn't getting rid of the baby, or that we weren't getting rid of the baby. I knew that I loved you at the time. I knew that,
Well, I hope you still love me at the time.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean, going back to that time.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't like I was scared about it or nervous or any of that stuff.
No. Were you scared to tell your parents?
No,
No. Were you scared to tell my mom?
no. No, I wouldn't have told you to go tell your mom if I was.
I'm still scared of my mom to this day.
She's not scared. You're
No,
trying
she's
to
not
say-
scary in that way. She's scary in like the fact that you don't want to disappoint your parents.
Liz wants to know why I went for the bike ride. Well, because I also like bike riding. I still do. That's why I have that track. I think after, was it Abigail that was like 6 months old when we bought the tracks?
Yeah.
We ended up buying bikes when Abigail was like 6 months old.
And that's the bike that Cristiano rides now.
Yeah.
That's how frugal we had to be with our money to get to where we're at. Like, Cristiano's the only one who has a bike, and it's a very
I
old
have a
bike.
bike, but I don't have one here.
No.
And I didn't pay for the bike I have in Michigan. That used to be a boo-boo's bike.
Yeah, that was like a pass-me-down bike. But yeah, we had to sacrifice things like
Lala,
that.
how old are you?
Julie, to answer your question, she said, but did I know I liked you then? I think there was a like, but it wasn't, you know, like, I didn't know I was gonna get married to her.
I like that bike ride. I remember not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with him. I remember feeling like that was so nice because we talked the whole time, and my husband is not a talker, and I just remember us talking the whole time. I think we fell in love when we started to enjoy food together.
Well, no, my personality, like, even now, it's hard for me to, like, trust people because of, I think it's because of where I grew up, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to just trust people in general. You know what I mean? What their real intentions are. And for whatever reason, I didn't have that with Aaron. You know what I mean? We talked that entire bike ride.
Right.
About just different things.
Yeah, and now looking back, I can't remember what we even talked about. I just remember talking the whole time. I remember we went really far.
Was it that Hesperia?
No.
Bike
Oh my
trip?
gosh, that was horrid. That was horrid.
What was
That was
horrid?
after we had Ab. How could you think it was that?
That
was after we had Abby.
But I'm asking if it was that same trail.
No, this was the trail from your house past
To the lake.
like yeah,
To-
like the downtown trail, but not that way. This way,
Where they did,
the weird way,
where
toward
they-
North Muskegon.
No, I know. To where they did at Heritage Landing.
Yes. Okay, so that was
Well,
when,
that's the same. That's the same trail.
That's the sweet tail.
hun, you're mixing up our love dates.
No, that's the same. That same trail goes to Hesperia, but we just drove to Whitehall instead of going from Heritage Landing.
And I'm gonna tell you guys how good my husband is to me, because when I got pregnant with Abigail, I had towards the end preeclampsia, and that's where you have like high blood pressure, I believe, but you retain a ton of water weight. So it wasn't just water weight though. I gained so much weight when I was pregnant with Abby the last 2 months. When I show Abby pictures,
Yeah,
like
she broke an ice cream chair.
Abby, when I show her pictures, like, whoa, okay. My husband loved me through that. I gained so much weight, and I remember it was the summertime, and we went to an ice cream shop. Now, when I get ice cream, I will probably get 1 scoop, like in a cup. I'm not, Abby, everybody can still see you crawling fast.
Abigail.
She wants to be part of the cheese face. She's coming into the kitchen.
Mom, you better raise that on me.
I can't. We're in live.
I need some ice because my wisdom teeth hurts.
Abby just got her wisdom teeth taken out, so she's. You can walk past normal now if you would like.
No, things are doing balance.
But I was at least 8 months pregnant at the time. We're at an ice cream shop, and I said, I want the biggest large ice cream you have. I craved ice cream for Abigail. And they gave me this big, large ice cream, and I sat down and I broke the chair, and the ice cream went
Dude,
flying back.
I remember we drove by the next day, remember, and they had replaced all the
They
tables and all the
replaced
chairs.
all of them. But
Dude, we could have sued the crap out of that place.
I know, but I remember that you did not feel any differently about me.
No.
You did not think, like, never in my weight, because as women, when you have children and stuff, your weight fluctuates and all that. My husband has never treated me any different, whether I was smaller or whether I was bigger. And it's funny because here in Mexico, and Abby talks to me about this all the time, like, men really like full women. It is not like in the States where like a girl who is super skinny, that's what they're looking for. They say it's called like torta. Like they want you to be a torta. And they like more full figured women. So I've never felt uncomfortable when I was pregnant or anything like that. And that's another way of like just me feeling secure and safe with my husband. His intentions towards me have never been different, whether I was very heavy. That Abby was my heaviest. I'm not even gonna tell you guys how much I weighed, but it was my heaviest. And,
You were still beautiful. Remember the photo shoot you did with the purple dress?
oh yeah, that was with Penelope. and nobody knew yet. I did hide Penelope from my mom for
Until
like
I
5
feel like
months.
you were terrified to tell your mom of all of our kids.
I hid my pregnancy for 5 months from my whole family except my sisters with Penelope. Yeah, that was. Look at someone said I love tortas. Yeah, see, it's a thing. It's Abby was really surprised coming here that like even teenage boys like they
gosh.
like more full figured.
Lorena, so yeah, just so you know, I didn't call her that, okay? She just said that.
No,
So
that's
she said if my husband ever calls me a torta, I'm catching a case. Damn.
Wait, what is it if it's not torta, Abby? There's no, there's, but what is it if you're real skinny?
Flaquita.
Oh, flaquita or torta?
torta.
Abby,
Little Pughouse Farm, good night.
What?
torta women for the win. Yeah, you guys wouldn't believe that. It was funny because my mom's side of the family, we have always been like more full-figured women. I swear to you, like when they say you have birthing hips, that's what we have. Like we were meant for that, okay? And I told my mom when she came to Mexico, because my mom's just like an average size, and I was like, Mom, in Mexico, I was like, you don't even have to worry about your weight. I was like, they want to bring you out for tacos. They want to bring you out to eat. They want you to be full-figured. They want you to enjoy this life, because when you're full-figured, it's like more of a sign that you're healthy. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that.
I don't know how to explain that either.
Because nobody here is extremely overweight, but everybody's just kind of in the middle. And everybody just enjoys
Their life.
their food and their life. And I love that here that I don't have to worry.
Yeah, like boys be here taking you out to get tacos. ¿Quieres ir por tacos?
Abby was saying how some of her boyfriends have taken her out to get tacos, and that's like one of her favorite things. Like when I ask her about boys she likes, she rates it on
How many
like
tacos they buy me?
how much. She just said she rates it on how many tacos they buy her. So like if they go out for if they don't want to get tacos, that bothers her. And if they do take her out for tacos and they're like, oh, you want 2, that bothers her.
She said it's a red flag. If she asks them what's your favorite food and then don't say tacos, that's a red
Yeah,
flag.
Or if they don't want salsa on their tacos,
Yeah.
Abby's like, no thanks. There was one boy she dated who'd take her for tacos, and Abby could like tear up tacos. She'd be like, 6, please.
I'm like, extra salsa roja, gracias.
Oh my gosh, Abby's so funny. All right, you guys. Okay, anything else you have to add to your love story about me that I don't remember before we go to bed?
Shoot, I barely remember. What do you mean?
I'm
Thank
trying
hon.
How can you not remember?
I feel like you remember the
One day
funniest
full
things.
detail, and you like did a short story.
I don't know. Like what?
I don't know. Is there any memory that pops into your mind that I didn't mention?
The baby shower for Abigail.
Oh, that was wild. That was so wild that has gone down in our family's history, our baby shower for Abigail.
Why was it wild?
So I'm giving you guys a perspective from a white person, okay? Because if you're Hispanic, you don't know unless you've been to white baby showers. But my first baby shower was from my side of the family, and it was really beautiful. We sat down at the tables. It was decorated so nice, and we played like the games where you have to guess things, and we had really good food, and then everybody went home.
Hold on. Somebody said, how long have we been married?
15 years. 15 years, you guys.
It could be 55.
Not to be 16.
15 years, a lot of ups and downs, and I will say my grandma Alice, it'd be my kid's great grandma, she has been married she has to be close to 90, her and her husband, my grandpa, and she has given me always the best marriage advice. And she is so faith-based that I feel like always comes back to me when I'm really mad at my husband, and I'm just like, and I'm so mad. And her advice always comes back into my head and helps me
Who are you
to
talking
regroup.
about?
My grandma Alice.
Oh,
She has always given me the best, yeah.
Her grandma Alice, my wife just posted a picture on the
YouTube.
post section of YouTube. of her grandma and her when she was a baby. And I mean, Aaron's grandma is probably like her twin. They look exactly like. Both of them have red hair. They have the same skin. They have the same facial features. It's like twins.
Yeah, we both really love the Lord. And it's funny because like you look like someone and then you resemble them in different ways. Me and my husband are 6 years apart, right? 6 years?
No, 7.
6, yeah.
6 years apart. I think that was the other reason I really loved my husband a lot when we were dating was he was already mature as much as a boy can be mature at. He would have been 24.
Who?
Or 23.
Who?
You.
What?
Oh, you're 24.
What?
When we started dating.
Yeah. No, I was 23. Because when I came to Mexico, I had just turned 25.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. 6 years apart. We're 6 years apart. We're obviously really good at math, you guys. Both have beautiful red hair. Oh, thank you. Mexico's 2 hours behind us. Is there no mariachi at the baby shower? Okay, baby shower time, you guys. So the first baby shower was me and my white family. Very calm, relaxed, normal baby shower. I was used to a party like that. Then, I don't know if my husband knows this or not. My mother-in-law and father-in-law wanted to throw me a surprise baby shower.
Well,
And
we had already had something. Did we have something at your mom's house?
yes, we already had that.
It was like, I mean, it was just like a regular baby shower. It was like, you know what I mean? We had food and then everybody left.
Right.
But then my mom was like, well, you know, we already did a surprise baby shower at my cousin's house at the time. And I mean, I don't know how, like, Mexicans come up with like the most crazy games and like, it was insane.
It was so funny. Okay, so we're going to this baby shower. Now my sister Jessica, who I told you we're real close, she goes, Aaron, I have to tell you, Lalo's planning a surprise baby shower, and he doesn't want me to tell you, but I don't want you going there looking like crazy. I want us to be able to find you a nice outfit. And I said, okay, thanks for telling me. So I find this nice outfit, and I'm gonna post the baby shower photo from this day after the live is done so you guys can see. So I'm assuming it's like any other day, right? My whole family comes. Now my family, I remember at the time, my Uncle Scott, he was like a businessman, okay? Kind of very more serious, and he came to it. He had the most fun out of anyone. I think he wanted to be Mexican after that point, okay?
I think everybody did.
So we get to the baby shower, and they made our most favorite foods. There was this green chile sauce on the table, and nobody in my family had ever had Mexican salsa, you guys. Ever. I know that's like hard to imagine, but never had Mexican salsa. So my father-in-law made this jalapeno Mexican salsa, and it was at each table. And I remember my sister Emily just like drinking it. Like she couldn't get enough of it. She was grabbing other people's salsa things. And oh my gosh, I wish she was on here to talk about this. So the first thing we did is we opened baby gifts. I'm not even kidding. I think me and my husband counted like 42 baby dresses. You know, like the Mexicana, like full ruffle baby dresses. I think we counted 42, like something like that. It was wild. And I was thinking in my head, where's she gonna wear a dress like this to? But at the time, I didn't know Mexicans had so many like baptisms and communions and all these things. They have these parties where she would wear these types of dresses. I didn't know. So we have this party. The dresses are done, and it's time for the baby shower games. Dude, it was wild. They were already drunk off salsa, okay? They were already having the time of their lives. And the first baby game we played was somebody had to sit down, and they had a bottle, and they put Coca-Cola in it.
Like a baby bottle, like the one that they drink out of?
The trick was, though, this nipple didn't have a hole in it.
Yeah, it had one, but it was like super
No, it
tiny.
didn't. It didn't have a hole. So my family, they convinced my family that my family has to do it first.
Yeah.
And I remember Emmy, so my uncle's holding the bottle and then a couple other people, and then Emmy's over here and they're like, what do you have to do? And I was like, you have to get down on the ground, crawl to that person, you have to bite a hole through the nipple, and whoever gets the Coke out first wins. And my family went at it. They were not even playing. This was such a big competition. All of it was competition. It was not like a little, oh, write down and you might win a prize. I don't think there was prizes. It was just whoever can get that Coke out of the bottle the fastest. And then they had to play a game where they had to figure out how big my stomach was.
Yeah.
And I was like,
piece of
No, but
string.
they have a bunch
Yeah.
of enchiladas in
and
there.
I was like, there's
In
no
Mexico
way I'm gonna let
City.
them guess how big my stomach is. They're like, you have to do it. So I went into labor that night. We leave the baby shower, and I'm like, oh, my stomach feels kind of funny. And
Go to a Jonas Brother concert.
yeah, Emmy, my little sister Emily, had tickets to the Jonas Brother concert the next day, okay? I wasn't supposed to go into labor. I went into labor, and I wake up, and I think it's 3 in the morning. And I get up, and I went to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, my stomach hurts. Emmy's in there, and she's like...
She has extreme diarrhea.
And
okay,
extreme
from the
throw
salsa.
up.
Yeah, she's throwing up all over the place.
Oh, and only...
She's mad she can't go to the Jonas Brothers concert.
Yeah, and only because... Not because the salsa was bad, because my family had never had fresh chiles. They have never had anything like that. And Emmy was grabbing other people's bowls because she was eating so much. So it was coming out of both ends. And I was like, Emmy.
checked the mess.
And I remember her on the ground and she's crying. And I'm like, Emmy, I'm about to have the baby. We got to go wake up mom. And Emmy's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm rubbing Emmy's back and I'm in labor and I'm trying to go get my mom. And then I call my sister Jessica. She's sick as well.
Somebody said, dang salsa, fire in the hole.
No, that's what it was like. Now to this day, my Emily will tear up some tacos and salsa. She's like me, like she dreams about it. But
Yeah, when there's leftover salsa, you know who's gonna eat it. Me.
my family had a rough night that night.
Dude, but there was
really-
more games.
There was so many games. We might have a video of it. I think someone was videotaping.
Oh my God.
Nobody wanted to leave. The party went into the night. Now my first baby shower was only 2 hours, but this baby shower went into the night. There was probably tequila and beer. Oh, and then they told me I had to eat. That was the first time I did a thing where you had to like eat the cake in front of them. And I was like, there is no way I'm gonna eat this, like bite the cake in front of everybody. This is so weird. No, they didn't, but I was so confused at why does it bring them joy? They're all chanting to see me take a bite of the cake.
Probably thought you were someone
I don't know.
close to your head.
No, but I know why now. Like, I enjoy it. Like, we all chant at fiestas, but that was the first time because white
Dude.
people don't do that.
So there's a game where you take a pencil and then you tie it around your waist and it
Oh
kind of
my
dangles
gosh.
between your legs, okay? So then you have to take one of those Coke bottles and you have to like dip yourself like so you make it into the Coke bottle. Best game ever.
It looks like you're
repeat
going
that?
to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played that game before, but I saw Lupita play.
You're the best at those games. There's gonna be more fiestas coming up, you guys, since it's April, so I'm gonna be filming.
It's April?
Well, it's April pretty soon, but the fiestas in April will be
I
coming
thought
up
it was
soon.
February.
No, most Hispanic families are very close. The fiestas are to unite everyone. Yes, and they do unite everyone. How many dresses do you think we got that night?
I think Abigail had like 50 something dresses hanging.
Yes, and
I
they
recall
were
that.
they were ball gowns for a newborn.
Most of my baby photos were in
Yeah, but I didn't know why at the time, but I didn't realize the Hispanic community has so many fiestas.
What? What are we looking at?
All right, you guys, we are gonna get going because it is getting late and I'm glad I could get back onto the live to finish telling you guys that story. Starting tomorrow is 5 days of my favorite Mexican food. So 5 days in a row.
Wait, will you be making all of them or?
Are we buying?
Well, okay, so day 1 to day 4 will be me making them, but day 5 is gonna be the finale, and it's gonna be a big surprise. So you are not gonna wanna miss day 5. I'm gonna do all of them in a row for you guys. Day 5 is gonna be our top favorite food in Mexico, so you'll see. But tomorrow is start of day 1, you guys.
All the life.
You lasted the whole entire life. Do you want to tell them anything in Spanish? I already sent them when you send your. She sends her friends little WhatsApp videos because their moms might let them use the phone for a minute. And Annabelle is so cute.
Yeah, and I send her messages and voicemails.
And my husband's trying to read the last of the comments before.
Somebody said Hilda, day 5, question mark.
Oh, Grandma Hilda, my husband's mom, is in the United States right now because all of my husband's brothers and his sister, they live in the United States. So she spends a lot of her time there, and then she spends her time here as well. So she tries to break it up, but she doesn't spend the whole entire year here in Mexico. She'll be back for the fiestas because her and Abby stay out till 4 in the morning. So.
Oh man, somebody said capirotada. You know, I haven't had capirotada in such a long
I
time.
was just talking about that the other day, but I didn't know what it was. And everyone
Yeah, what is that?
Capirotada is like a Mexican dessert. It's like bread. It's kind of like tres leches.
Yes, you were talking about that the other
Dude,
day.
so bomb.
Hey, wasn't that one girl selling it?
Oh, she might have
my
been
head
selling
might
it.
get stuck.
Okay, so we have that coming up, you guys. We have the 5 days of our favorite Mexican food,
Who said
and then
Annabelle?
the reason I'm doing 5 days of my favorite Mexican food is number 1, I want to share it with you guys, but number 2, my sister Emily, I'm trying to get her down here for the graduation. So that will give us a little bit of an income to be able to get her down here to be madrina for the graduations.
Somebody said it's bread pudding.
I've never had
Dude,
that
it's so
here.
bomb.
That is crazy. So next live, we'll probably talk about madrinas and padrinos and how important that is to Mexican culture, because when I first moved to Mexico, I had no idea what a madrina and padrino were, and nobody could explain it properly to me. They're so important that for the graduations, they set out a tent in these beautiful chairs. The mom and dad do not sit at the chairs. The madrina and padrinos do. So if you get picked to be that, it is a huge honor. And I wanted my sister Emily to be able to come out here to be able to do that for my little kids. So watch those vlogs for me, you guys, because that supports our family, our community, and getting Emmy here for the graduation. And thank you everybody who loved and supports our family. I love being able to tell you guys stories and include you in our life here in beautiful Mexico.
Wait, somebody said to go live more often, and just so you guys know, we go live every Sunday, or at least we try to.
I would love to go live and show you guys like our home and stuff so I could answer more questions, but we live so deep into Mexico, our Wi-Fi is not good enough to do that. We have to be in one specific spot. But
which
you
is on
guys,
the back table.
before we go, you guys leave your comments what you think the finale is going to be, because me and my husband have been talking about day 5 finale.
I already tried out the thing, and Boo Boo think a bomb went off.
Maybe leave some suggestions on the comments.
Yeah, but still, day 5 is day 5. That's the best of the best. I want to know if you guys can guess what it's going to be, but it's going to be something special. And
Somebody wants to know how much are dress boots here. It depends on what it is you're looking for and what you want.
$20.
But it could be from 500 pesos to, I don't know, 20,000 pesos.
where does that say it's from?
$20.
Gamerman 8083. Thank you so much. Oh, I wish Emmy was on the live right now with you guys. What did they ask, hun?
How much were dress boots?
Oh,
Dress
Man, you
boots.
guys,
What are dress boots?
there's a pair of dress boots in in Ototanico that I have been wanting for like 2 years. And I might go get them before the fiesta starts.
The long ones?
Yeah, the long ones that are in that one little Western shop. They're so, Western boots here are so beautiful. So if I go do that, I'm gonna take you guys along with me because they're really not that expensive and they're made from real leather. But a friend of mine bought me an Ariat shirt. And it was so funny because we went to Arandas and we bought everybody something. And I didn't get that shirt I wanted because I felt like it was too expensive. And I would rather be able to get my kids things. And so I'd always thought about it. It has little frills and stuff. And this was like a year ago. And my friend came to visit. Her family, her mother and father-in-law live here, and she came with their kids. And the night before she left, she goes, "Oh, I have something for you." And it was the Ariat shirt. And it just, it like brought tears to my eyes because I cried. And it was so special because I would never have bought a shirt like that for myself. So I think now I'll go buy the boots so that first day of fiesta, we can really enjoy it. But it was such a blessing because I didn't even know somebody thought about me that way. And it was such a thoughtful gift to know like that was something that I hadn't mentioned, and then it's so long ago. But anyways, it was so nice of her, and she bought a bunch of stuff for Penelope and Annabelle and them too. It was so sweet of her.
Wait, who was that? Somebody's looking for specific boots.
Oh, what is their brand?
No, it wasn't a brand. It was a material that they were made of. I don't know, if you're looking for like an exotic boot, you're probably gonna pay,
Yeah, a little more expensive.
yeah,
Real
probably $600
leather.
or $700.
Right, real leather. Summer lovin'. Thank you so much.
I have
Tacos
to
de
remind
carnaza.
Mom because see, Mom, look at this.
Oh, tacos de canasta, man, I haven't had that
Oh,
in
is
a while.
canasta different? Oh, I didn't know that. You guys, it's gonna be a big surprise. Don't miss the 5 days of it, because I'm gonna show you guys how to make some food at home. Are you ready, honey? All right, we're gonna get going for bed. The kids start school tomorrow. Buenas noches, todos.
Buenas noches, gracias.
Bye.
I am